Welcome everybody to our latest session of Scarlet Citadel. The group ended off in a odd position at the end of last session, so we will do a quick recap as usual and get started. So group, when we picked up last week, you guys were actually in the second level of the Scarlet Citadel. You were wrapping up the activities there with the goblinoids that you had discovered after you defeated most of them, including their leader, and let the one live. You guys then made your way out of that area, poked around a little bit more. You had received some information from that surviving goblin about this strange effect in the north part of the floor that individuals that step into a certain area essentially disintegrate. And you guys sort of scoped that area out a little bit, tried to see what you could find out, but didn't go too close, not wanting to risk this effect, whatever it was, and then ultimately decided to exit here, head back to the village of Red Tower, and begin your preparations to head over to Proudglaive for the tournament. So after you made your way back to the village of Red Tower, you did some talking around the town. You spent a little bit of time in the Cage Tavern and Inn and purchased some things and just sort of did some more or less downtime type of stuff in the village there before you then made your way out and headed off to on the way to the tournament. So as a reminder, you guys are heading this way. There's this official tournament that takes place, and essentially especially for the joust, only high-end nobles, knights, basically prominent folks around the land are invited to attend. Then there's also an official melee event, an official archery event, and those two events have lower requirements, but they are still essentially focused on armsmen of nobles and lords, that type of thing. So you might find some more regular kind of folks in the melee or in the archery event, but you will also find more higher up folks there as well. However, as you guys have come to learn, and as you were aware since the beginning of this campaign, much of this world is human focused, and they tend to be against non-humans, thinking many of them to be monsters, or perhaps don't have the manners or the brains to act in a cultured manner. And this hit Grask pretty hard as he expressed an interest to participate in the official melee, and he's been told by pretty much everybody that that is not going to happen. Nobody would allow a lizard folk to enter the melee. However, an opportunity came about as one of these nobles that was traveling and was in the village of Red Tower at the time. He explained that there's this sort of underground event that takes place parallel to the official event, where he called it the real action takes place. He explained that this is a melee style brawl where there is opponents that you face off, and they essentially see who is the strongest of them all, and that person wins a significant award. So after discussions with this noble and coming up with a split agreement, you guys decided to head over to the city of Proudglaive. There's one of you at least. Basan is intending to participate in the official archery event, and the rest of you guys are interested in checking out those underground events. So yeah, that was the plan. You guys made your way across land and are heading in what is essentially the most direct route to the city of Proudglaive. And as you guys were making your way over land, got close to one of these smaller villages along the way, you came upon this scene of a gallows that were erected along the roadside. As you were approaching, you heard the sound of townsfolk calling out and seemingly angry and shouting, and there was a woman dressed in robes along with two armored men who seemed to be manning these gallows, and there was a woman who was hung by the gallows getting ready to be executed. As your group sort of came upon this encounter and spoke with the townsfolk, they explained that this woman who was in the process of being hung, they did not believe that she had committed this crime that the knights and this woman seemed to indicate that she did. So the woman who was to be hung was named Jessica. You guys tried to learn what you could here, spoke with the armored men who turned out to be knights, at least according to them. And there was this person behind them as well, this woman dressed in these robes, and she explained that she was in service to the Church of Halen, and she was here and essentially acting as an investigator and tracking down practitioners of dark magic. And she indicated that her evidence shows that Jessica was indeed a practitioner of dark magic. And so as the group, particularly Basan, tried to ask for more information from this woman, the woman explained that your group has no authority in these proceedings, and she doesn't have to answer any of your questions. And that after a period of time, you might say intense questioning towards her, where she kept trying to explain that she did not have to give you any information. Eventually the question was asked, how long before the execution? And the woman said, looking up towards the sun, about an hour from now. So the group decided to make their way into the village and see what they could learn while there and see what they could do. So heading into the village and speaking with some of the different folks there, you guys met a couple of different individuals, such as Gravedigger Wilkes, the carpenter Bendel, the thatcher Patty, and this child who you guys all spoke with, these individuals, and you learned some different information. Eventually you made your way into this woman's house. The woman's known as Maud. Maud is the one who was slain. And as you guys searched in Maud's house, you found some disturbing things, namely that Maud looked like she was killed by herself or through suicide, and there was this blood rune underneath her body. This was only discovered after sort of moving the body, after having spotted a little bit of the blood. And as you guys tried to put two and two together, figure out what was going on here, you guys had some varying thoughts amongst yourself of what exactly had occurred here. You decided to make your way back to the gallows and see what you could talk to the woman, or maybe see what you could find out from there. However, as you started making your way back, you noticed the villagers re-entering the village. And as you approached them and asked, they said that that Jessica had already been hung. So you guys decided to step out of town, use an invisibility spell to turn both Jolly and Hugo invisible, and send the two of them closer up, following the gravedigger as he had been summoned by the woman from outside, and followed out there. And sure enough, Jessica was indeed hung, and Wilkes had been summoned to take the body to the graveyard and begin to inter her into the ground. So you guys were kind of close by with Hugo, trying to get fairly close to this woman to scope her out and see what, if there's any defining marks or anything that really stood out. Unfortunately, that heavy armor of his definitely made quite a bit of noise. So both the woman and the armed men seemed to hear Hugo approaching, even though he was invisible, and sort of looked in that direction and started moving around, trying to perhaps find him or get more information on what that noise was. Hugo turned and bolted out of here, trying to get a distance between himself and towards the village. This worked, except, of course, all these folks certainly heard the sound of a heavily armed person running away, and they correctly deduced that it was somebody who was invisible. So Hugo has rushed back towards the village. Jolly is still out here by the gallows at the moment, while these folks are still here. So, guys, that's our quick recap from last session. Is there anything I didn't add anybody would like to add?
Just they were saying they were going to Mienem Falls at the end, their next stop.
Yes, good addition. So in trying to find out any more information about these folks, you, while invisible, did hear one of the knights explain that he did not think the trio would have enough time to get back to Mienem Falls. And you guys, calling upon your knowledge of the area, recall that Mienem Falls is think of it almost as like a city that is east of the river, just south of the Red Tower. So when you guys came south of Red Tower and then made your way along west along the road before you got to this village, had you gone east instead, you would have come across the bridge and then to Mienem Falls pretty quickly. So go ahead and take inspiration for that, Hugo.
I wanted to remind everybody that we also met with Basan met with the Chamber of Commerce guy and got us 2 horses and a cart, and we had to pay a deposit, and then if we bring it back uninjured, we get our money back. But we are not traveling on foot. We have those horses and that carriage.
Yes, good addition, Basan. So that was back in the village of Red Tower, where you spoke with Constable Roche, and he was the one who had access to the horses and the cart. You guys had originally inquired at the stables, and the stable boy there said that the horses were essentially controlled or property of the constable. He directed you over towards the town hall. You headed that way, spoke with Constable Roche, and struck an agreement with him. So yes, you guys have those 2 horses and the cart. Go ahead and take inspiration for that as well, Basan. Any other additions, either Jolly or Grask?
You got it all.
Okay, good enough. So, guys, we will go ahead and move back to our map here, as most of you guys are still in this village, and we have Jolly nearby the graveyard. Jolly, was it your intent to make your way back towards the group once you heard the sound of the heavily armed man running away?
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, so we will assume that after a short period of time, Hugo and Jolly do manage to return back to the town, or the village here, and find yourselves back all together. Unfortunately, or not unfortunately, but Hugo and Jolly are still both invisible, so they probably have to tap Grask and Basan on the shoulder or something along those lines just to alert the two of you to their presence.
Hello. We're here.
Oh, okay. Here, let me drop this invisibility there. There.
Thank you. They didn't say anything suspicious.
They're from, or they're going to, Mienem Falls. So, I think if any more suspicious stuff happens there, then we might be on to something. But for now, does everyone want to keep heading on?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's smart for us to get ourselves all entangled with this. It's going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, we gave it the old heave-ho.
We're likely to get ourselves in trouble if we stick around.
All right, so you guys have traveled for about 5 hours from the village of Red Tower and then spent about an hour here between talking with the woman, going to the village, doing some searching around there, maybe a little less than an hour, but you're closing in on about 6 hours of daytime so far, so you can think of this as being probably early to mid-afternoon by this point.
Well, we can continue on the road and pull over and find a spot to camp. Or we could rent a spot at the inn there, but do we really want to stay around here?
Well, we don't need to be at Proglaive for a little while. So, maybe the less time we spend there, the better. I don't know when the other fighting starts, but I think we have a few days of leeway with the official tournament.
Well, we have to meet them at the Yellow Dragon in 1 week's time, so I believe that gives us just roughly 5 days left to get there. Are there 7 days in a week, Adam, or 10?
Oh, good question. I'm presuming 7. I'll have to check the actual official world calendar to get you the correct answer. But yes, I would say time-wise, you guys are still in good shape. You probably have about 5 days or so before you need to be there.
Okay. All right, so we do have a good handful of days. I mean, we can stay here, but did they say, were they moving on or were they staying as well?
Who? The Halen soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
I think they might be staying and then heading out in the morning, or I'm not sure. They're on their way out, but I think the less we interact with them, the better. I don't think we made a good impression, and they might be murdering people.
Why don't we go on to the next town and stay there?
That's fine with me. Can we do it in one day?
I don't think so.
Based on how far you guys would need to travel, you can travel about 3 miles per hour on foot. So with your horses and cart, you can make that pace pretty easily. So you would get there in about a little over 4 hours. So that would be traveling 1 hour more than what you would in a typical day. So risking a little bit of exhaustion perhaps. And for a fun little backstory note, there's actually 8 days per week in this world. So yeah, the tournament would be held at the end of the week. So you guys are in basically day 3, and the tournament is held on day 8.
Okay, we can cover a little distance. And like I said, we can camp out under the stars.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sounds good.
Fine by me.
So you continue on.
All right, so you guys make your way away from this small little village here and start heading down the road, traveling for another couple of hours or so. You're getting to about that 7th hour of travel altogether. You travel for a little bit longer, finding that the going is pretty easy here. You're on a road. There's not much distractions or any kind of issues as far as inclement weather or anything like that. So you continue getting there, and you realize you're starting to get a little bit tired, really more or less the horses. You realize you probably should give them a bit of a break. You've been traveling for about 8 hours now. You might be able to push it to another hour without too much issue, but up to you.
Real quick, can I say that I'm going to pull the short bow and arrows out of the bag of holding and put 2 daggers in just for clerical sake?
You can, yeah.
Grask, do you maybe want to see if you can find us a good spot to camp? We'll pull the carriage around.
And he'll take a peek at the carriage wheels. How off-road do I think they can go?
I mean, if you got into mud or anything like that, you think you'd be in a bit of a risk, but if there's no mud, you think you'd be all right?
If they came into contact with like a big tree root, would they break?
I mean, if you were moving at high pace, perhaps.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try and find some place for us to spend the night.
Okay, fair enough. Blind check, please. And did you have your token for that selected for that?
I did. I had the one on the I'll try it again.
Okay, that probably means the sandbox crash. One moment. Always fun dealing with Roll20. Yes, it sure did.
That's cool that it can crash and not tell you.
I know, isn't that nice? Yeah, I think that's been a suggestion for like 6 years or so. I'm sure they'll get to it pretty soon. Interesting. Okay, so let's see. We've got a really bad error that even refreshing it is not fixing. You just give that a moment. Let's see if it resolves. Yeah, it looks like it's in a death spiral. It just keeps reloading over and over. So, interesting. So I guess we'll go public just for now. Go ahead and throw a survival check. Yeah, so you spend a bit of time here out in this area, searching around for any kind of reasonable camping spot. You pretty much have your pick here. There's a lot of flat ground. If you're staying nearby the road, it's really easy. If you go off the road a bit, you'll notice that there's trees both to the north and the south. Those are obviously a little distance away, maybe a quarter mile or so on either side of the road. So yeah, you pretty much have your choice.
If nobody objects, Grask is going to pick a place that's further in away from the road, because when he travels, he doesn't like to be seen by anyone.
Basan is expecting this, so it does not bother him.
Yeah, that's fine. It's all right, Grass. We can go as far as you want.
Safer that way.
And he'll Really, I don't know what this number would be, but probably like 2 or 3 minutes in off the road.
Okay, fair enough. So yeah, you spend a little bit of time moving off of the road here and getting a distance away from the road. You realize that you'll be in pretty good shape here, but obviously if you were to do like a fire or something, then potentially somebody could see you from the road if they happen to be traveling at night.
All right, this looks like the spot. And Hugo will like unhook the horses, I guess, and give them food and water.
All right, I think I got that script thing fixed now. So, okay, yeah, so you spend a bit of time taking care of the horses. Yeah, sort of unlashing them from the cart here and giving them some food and water. And I imagine sort of tying them off with some kind of a lead to a tree or something like that.
Yep.
Okay, fair enough. As far as camping goes, are you guys doing bedrolls, tents? How are you guys doing your camping?
I'm gonna
Figure
roll.
the good old bed rolls around a fire kind of thing, right, guys?
Yeah, I think, but with like the carriage sort of blocking us, right?
Putting
Or
the
at least
carriage
Hugo-
between the
Hugo.
fire and the road, you're thinking?
Yeah, just to sort of block the light a little bit.
Okay.
Jolly's gonna curl up on a bedroll under the carriage.
Under the carriage? Okay, nice.
Yeah, Basan will pull his bedroll suspiciously close to the fire and be like right up in it. But you guys already know he's got a pretty big affinity for it.
All right, you guys will notice Sebastian breaks his bedroll out and is sleeping inside the cart, as no one seems to have claimed that so far. And yeah, he likes the stability of the cart, so yeah, he is sitting down there. As far as watches go, are you guys taking watches or assuming this is a safe area and sleeping through the night?
I can go first for first watch. It's always good to have a watch posted.
All right.
Second.
I guess I'll do third.
We need a fourth. Take it.
Okay, so I will just ask each of you to make a blind check here, and we'll go in the order that you guys declared your watches.
Oh, did you mean to click those in the order? Because I did it right away.
Oh no, I'll take them in the order that you guys declared, but you can click them at any time. Okay, so Jolly, you were on last watch, right?
Yep.
All right, so as you guys have bedded down here for the night, you've got a small fire going with Basan sleeping close to that. You've got the cart separating the fire from the road, doing the best you can to make your presence here as undetected as possible. Grask, your watch goes uneventfully so, as does Basan's and Hugo. Jolly, once you're awoken and you start looking around, you can see that where the supplies that you guys have on you have been sort of left. So think of this as backpacks and any maybe pouches, sacks, that sort of thing. Anything that's then sort of set off to the side where you can then lay down. You will notice that both Hugo and Grask's packs have been dug into apparently by animals. You can see like little holes dug into the bags themselves. And some rations have been pulled out. So Grask, Hugo, I assume both of you guys have rations on you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, both of you have lost 2 rations as all 3 of you rolled terribly bad at your perception check, so none of you noticed it until Jolly woke up and happened to spot this.
Come on,
Okay.
guys.
Oh, they ate the hardtack. Oh, man.
Yeah, I noticed they were like that.
We can always hunt or forage for food. That's not the worst thing that could have been stolen, you know?
You gotta keep your eyes peeled for those little buggers.
But you guys have awoken to the morning sun rising and finding yourselves refreshed.
Hugo's just eating with a sour look on his face, eating some of his one of his rations, I guess.
Okay, fair enough.
They took all the good bits.
All right, so once you guys have perhaps a bite to eat in the morning here, I assume you guys are packing everything up and continuing on your way?
Yep.
Yep.
All right, you guys get set for your second day of travel here. Wow, got to zoom in a bit more to be able to grab onto this token. Okay, so you guys spend a little over an hour, maybe closer to an hour and a half, before you find your way to this nearby village here. You notice as you're getting closer, this is a very small village, maybe about the same size as the village that you passed nearby the gallows. However, this one sits pretty much right alongside the road, so you can think of almost as like houses and some buildings on the northeast side of the road, and there's even a couple that are more on like the southwest. So the road essentially bisects the village.
This place is probably safe if they're so close to the road.
Sure, we got plenty of time.
They might ask for a tax. Places like this always want a tax.
Should we go around it?
Nah. They'll know better than to mess with us if we just tell them to screw.
I don't usually travel on the road so much. The cart, it's not what I'm used to.
If you won't, you could get in the cart, and then they wouldn't be able to look at you so much.
I'd be ill prepared to an attack.
Oh, you just bust out, kick the door off. It's a loner.
It doesn't have a top.
That is correct. Yeah, think cart as opposed to carriage, so basically just an open box on wheels.
Yeah.
Oh. You just gotta lay down very flat, and then they can't see you.
Jolly decides that sounds good, so she'll jump into the cart and lounge.
Okay, is you guys' intention to essentially ride through this village or stop? So like as you're getting closer, nothing really sticks out to you here as being particularly impressive. There does look to be like a little roadside tavern, but other than that, it's just kind of small villages, a well, you can see a few people kind of about. Is there anything like provisions you're looking to stop to get, or just kind of pass on through?
We should probably refill our water skins, if possible.
You get more rations. Some of the good stuff.
Well, we are close to the river. We could always go that way to pick up some water. It's a little bit outside of it, but yeah, we could go in, get some food, rations, allow the horses to get some food and water as well.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of the few times I've been traveling that someone's not chasing me. So we can take our time and relax with it.
Sounds like there's a story there.
No, I'm sure you know what it's like.
What is that insinuating?
Well, you're all sneaky and quiet. All the sneaky and quiet people I know are in the same line of work.
Harbor folk? Fishing?
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. Regardless, maybe I'm the only one, but I'm gonna enjoy this little soiree. Got a little bit of coin in my pocket.
Yes,
Wet my
and
whistle.
you've almost died a few times in the Citadel, so yes, celebrate. Let's all have something to celebrate for. Maybe break out this high-proof alcohol we've been carrying around and never using. I have an entire cask of it.
It's for the trolls.
Yeah, it's for setting them on fire.
Yes. But there's supplies of alcohol almost anywhere along the countryside.
Then drink in town and leave this.
Fine. Just the quality seems fantastic.
Yeah, you can have as much of that as you want. It's a little early for me. I'm just gonna get some food and some rations. But I'll be quick.
I could use something other than tech. I'll come.
All right, so as you guys sort of roll up on this town and notice that there is an area where some people have their horses sort of on the other side of the road, as you imagine, being that this is on a main road, that they obviously get quite a few travelers that are going back east and west. And so, yeah, you see that the inn is right across from that, sort of set up in a way to be really accommodating to travelers, you could say. As you guys stop in here and sort of get off of your cart, and I imagine sort of tie your horses up near some of the railings, keep your cart off to the side, Sebastian offers to stay here and watch this stuff for you guys. He says once you guys finish buying any of your supplies or anything else you'd like to do, come back and just relieve him real quick. He'll just take a couple moments, getting off of his feet, walking around, maybe check a few things out, and then he'll be ready to go as well. The first thing I would say you guys notice as you start moving around here, there's a number of villagers in this place. It's fairly small, but you certainly notice a number of the villagers seem to have this crimson stain around their mouths. It's really faded, but it almost, if you think of like kids sucking on like popsicles and they have that like red stain, think of it like that.
I was going to say like when you drink that homemade Kool-Aid and it leaves that ring along the top lip.
There you go. Yep, exactly.
All these villagers look like clowns.
Does it seem religious at all, Adam? Like, have I seen this or heard of this in a religious way? Like, they drink a certain thing or maybe tattoo their faces this way?
Do you happen to have any tool proficiencies?
I literally have 0 tool proficiencies in anything.
Does anybody in the group have any tool proficiencies that might apply here? If you think maybe a tool might apply here, just go ahead and call it out.
I got shields.
Nice tool, but no.
Anything in a thieves' tools?
I would say no, probably not for this. Okay, fair enough. So I would say that this does not ring a bell to you. And based on where you guys come from, you know what we'll say? Go ahead and give me a blind check here, Basan. You're not really from around here, so I'm going to say this is at disadvantage.
Not a problem, Adam. Yeah, I don't think I have anything to counteract that. I got that and this. Those are my background stuff. Yeah. So that would be lizard folk, and then I would need a whole day to study somebody to learn. So yeah, disadvantage. Just blind check at him?
Yes. Yeah, you're not familiar with what this is.
I don't quite know myself. I've never seen anything like that.
Well, why don't we ask them? They might tell us.
Do you want me to?
You're good at talking to people, but I mean, I'll just grab someone. And Hugo stops the nearest person that has the ring around their mouth.
Okay, yeah, and you notice this woman leading a couple kids nearby here, and as you see her and, sort of call out, wondering about this, you see she turns and looks towards you. You notice the kids do not have this, but she looks towards you and she gives you this little bit of a smile, and you see the redness kind of stretches on her skin there, and she says, "Oh, have you heard of sooth salts before?"
No.
There's a man here who's famous for making them. They're quite marvelous. They really let you do some miraculous things, but, well, this is one of the side effects. They kind of stain your face a bit.
Oh, do you have to eat them?
Well, and you see she starts moving like in a satchel at her side, and she pulls out what looks like a small chunk of crystal. It's really small, though, maybe an inch long by like a half an inch wide. And it's pretty smooth, but it has like a kind of like almost reflective in a way, like a crystal type of look. And she shows it and she says, it's like this.
Oh, and Hugo's gonna like reach for it.
And you see she pulls back. She says, these are kind of expensive. If you'd like, I could sell you one, though.
Oh, well, what does it do? I'm not in the habit of using something I'm not sure what it does, really.
And you notice she points with her hand to this house a few doors down from the road. She says, Marcus lives down there. He's the guy that makes them. You could go ask him all about it. But I use them because it really helps me when I have to help at the store. A lot of times trying to make sure all the numbers line up and make sure we've got enough stock and orders and all that. I might be just a little tired or just can't really focus. And boy, these things really make your mind sharp.
Oh, I see. How much perchance would you sell them for, just in case?
I would sell it to you the same price I'd have to go buy one myself at the store, so it's actually 50 gold pieces.
Well, thank you for your time. I won't stop you and your children any longer.
No problem. Can I ask where you're from?
The road.
And you see she sort of chuckles and looks back towards her kids, who they sort of chuckle as well, and she says, okay, goodbye, Mr. The Road.
Yep. Have a nice one. Aelin bless you. And he turns back to everybody else. Oh, well, they're all taking some kind of magic drug.
Why?
She said it made her mind sharper. Anyways, they said this man over here sells them.
Well, we came to town to check it out. Do we want to investigate, or maybe just grab what we need and continue on?
She said 50 gold pieces?
She did.
Yeah, 50 gold for that little piece of crystal.
That's odd.
It's actually sort of better that she was willing to sell it to me, though. If she just wanted to keep it for herself no matter what, that would be a little bit more disturbing. You know what I mean? Maybe it's not addictive or anything, and this whole town's just getting all jazzed up on rocks.
Never seen anything like this.
I know of cultures that use something similar to drive their warriors to a frenzy.
Maybe we should check it out. Little edge for the tournament.
All right.
Well, if it caused people to go into like a frenzy, what if we introduce that into the trolls' food system?
I don't think this one does. That lady seemed fine.
Yeah, but what if that guy who creates these could make something that would do something like that.
Yeah, well, let's ask him. He's open for business, apparently.
Most efficient way to kill your enemy is have your enemy kill your enemy. You know what I mean?
Let's check it out.
Who's the enemy, though?
The trolls. We gotta get past that level to get further, right?
Yeah, but who's the other enemy?
The trolls. The trolls fight the trolls. Enemy versus enemy.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so I imagine you guys are having this conversation as you're moving towards the house that was pointed to you.
Yep.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, so you make your way down. This is clearly not a shop, just a small house. But as you come up, you notice the door opens and a person exits, and they just sort of look up at you, and you see that red ring around the mouth, and you see the person just gives you a polite smile and a tip of the nod of the hat kind of deal as the person just sort of walks off.
Do they seem like on drugs, or do they seem like normal?
Normal as best you can tell.
If the worst thing that happens is you get a red ring around your mouth, I might buy some of this stuff.
I don't think it's worth 50 gold pieces if that's the case.
I suppose. Yeah, that's probably a lot for these people. Not like us rich adventurers.
Might win it back in the tournament if it helps.
All right. And Hugo will knock at the door.
And you hear coming from the doorway, "I told you it would take me a few days to make some more." And the door opens, and then you see this gentleman standing before you who has a top hat on his head and has a small set of spectacles on his eyes. And he looks and says, "Oh, my apologies. I thought you were somebody else. Can I help you?"
Yes, we were told by one of the villagers here that you were creating these soothing crystals. A lot of them had these red rings around their mouth, and we were just curious. We're passing through.
Ah, yes, one of my fine inventions. I call them soothe salts. Quite effective, really. Are you interested in purchasing?
Well, obviously we've not heard of them, so we were curious about what they do. And, well, do you mind letting us in? Or do you want to have this talk in your doorway?
You see he sort of leans and sees how many of you there are. He says, "Apologies, the house is quite a mess at the moment, but I'll step outside if you like." And you see he closes the door and steps forward and gives you a smile. You see he's wearing these kind of like cloth suspenders that he puts his fingers underneath and gives you a smile. "Thomas, the name is Thomas Wellston. Good to meet you, good to meet you."
Hi, Thomas. My name is Basan Alulaku. We have Hugo here, and that's Jolly, and Grask, the big one in the back. Don't worry, we're all friendly here. We're not trying to take over your business. I do have a question, though. Do you make these yourself?
You see he gives you this kind of odd look. "Why in the world would you?" And you see he holds his spectacles close and leans in really close to you and then scans the rest, pops back like he's a little bit startled. Right. And you see he's sort of like leaning back towards the door, perhaps unconsciously.
So, if you make these soothing salts, we've got a pesky troll problem we've been trying to take care of. Could you make something that might enrage someone instead?
Enrage? Oh, I'm afraid I don't have any kind of recipe for that. But troll problem, you say? Perhaps there would be a case for my famous blasting powder.
Oh. Blasting powder sounds nice. I do love anything that explodes, personally.
Oh, well then you will love this, my friend. It is quite effective. Small pouch. When you ignite it, open flame or fuse, boom! Explodes. Creatures nearby will be hurt quite badly. Some might be killed instantly. In fact, if you have enough funds, you can even buy multiple pouches and bind them all together to make the boom even bigger.
And how many of these blasting pouches do you have?
Well, I don't keep too many on hand, but making them is not too intensive an effort. However, how long are you around the village for?
We have some time to spare. But before we place an invoice, so to speak, could you tell us what these soothing salts do?
Oh, the sooth salts. Oh, well, they make your mind very sharp. You're be able to think very clearly and be able to focus and be able to take down some of those pesky mathematic arithmetic problems with ease.
And any side effects from using them?
Well, some folks do say that they feel a little bit lethargic after the effect wears off, but it's not permanent, I can assure you.
And we heard it was about 50 gold for like a small chunk. Would that be all you needed?
Yes, that is correct. Unfortunately, my stock is quite low right now, but as you are not frequent purchasers, I always keep some on stock for new customers. How many are you looking to purchase?
Well, let me confer with my colleagues here, because we're probably interested in your blasting pouches, because that seems effective for our need.
Colleagues, fancy, fancy. Well, I look forward to hearing what they say.
So, what do you think? Oh, I guess I should ask you, the cost for your blasting pouches.
Well, believe it or not, these are fairly cost-effective. Per pouch, I could sell them to you also for 50 gold pieces.
Fantastic. Well, everyone, what do you think?
How much of the crystal can you take at once?
Oh, I usually create them in this small shape size here. And you see he rummages through his pocket, opens a cloth, and you see a similar size one that the woman showed you. This sort of red, reflective type of crystal. One is more than enough.
What if we were entering a tournament and we wanted to win, and would say we wanted to take 10?
Is this tournament some kind of spelling bee?
No.
Well, I can't imagine how effective this would be. If you mean some kind of fighting tournament, well, unless it involves deducing complex activities or solving the mysteries of the universe, I can't imagine how effective it would help.
Hey, Hugo, what about those notes that we have that were written in that crazy language? Maybe this could help us decipher those.
Yeah, maybe, honestly. But, do you take it yourself? You're doing so much business here. It looks like a lot of people are taking this.
You notice that he does not have the red ring around his mouth. You see he shakes his head back and forth. No, I'm afraid I do not. You see, my father taught me when he handed the business down to me. He said, don't suck on your own supplies.
You've been here long. You live here, right?
All my life.
Well, maybe I'll buy one.
Certainly, 50 gold pieces, please.
All right, Hugo hands it over.
And he wraps the one he showed you up at a little bit in this little cloth, and he hands it over to you. As you hand him the 50 gold pieces, you see he counts through them diligently and then gives you a nod and a smile and tucks it away in his pouch.
Now just remember, if this ends up hurting me somehow, we know where you live. And we all have swords.
Ah, well, like I told you, friend, some people do say they become lethargic after the effect wears off, so if that's what happens to you, you can't come and say I didn't warn you, but I think you will find the effects very promising.
Give him a good one. One that won't make him lethargic.
I don't have such a thing, I'm afraid. All of this is, well, it's science. Yes, some of those people, they practice magic and things. I've always been a man of science myself, and, well, unfortunately, when dealing with scientific things, there's often pros and cons, goods and drawbacks, you know.
It seems like you're running a racket.
No, no, good fellow, a racket? Indeed not. I sell good, high-quality equipment and supplies to anybody who can afford them.
And at these prices, I'm not sure how they do.
Well, it's true that not many in the village here, but you have to be close to your supply. I mean, people come from the bigger towns and purchase them from me.
How long would it take you to make 3 blasting pouches?
Oh, that many 3 blasting powders? I have that much on hand now. I could sell that to you.
Could we get a discount for purchasing in bulk?
Ah, shrewd lady, what kind of discount were you thinking?
I see where she's going. Like if we were to purchase 5 instead of them being 50 gold apiece, what if they were 30?
Oh, no, I'm afraid I could not go that low. I mean, there is cost on my end. This is not just stuff I find lying around to make these things.
Yes, we understand.
Then, of
How about
course, there's
40?
the expert skill needed to combine the ingredients properly and get them to work just precisely. You don't want your blasting powder to be not set up correctly. Could you imagine?
One quick question. About how long does the lethargy last after you take this stuff?
So with the people who always say that, I just tell them get a good night's sleep and they're usually fine the next day.
Right.
How about 3 for 120?
3 for 120. Oh, that would be cutting into my margins quite steeply. Jolly, go ahead and give me a blind check. Well, I suppose I could come down on the price a bit, but not that steeply. That's too much. What if I gave you a 2 gold discount per unit? So we'll knock off 6 gold pieces. If you buy 3, we'll call that 144 gold.
That sounds good to me. What is the radius of the explosion, so we know?
Oh, it's fairly close, but if you bind them together, it gets bigger, of course.
Okay. Well, guys, we do have that credit slip from the money man. It's in this bag here.
Credit slip? Oh, unfortunately, there's nowhere here in the village to redeem a credit slip. I'm going to need gold pieces, I'm afraid.
135.
I can't go that low, my lady. I really wish that I could, but you see, that would make it where I couldn't afford to keep replenishing my stocks.
If you can't take this slip, then I don't know if we have a deal.
I tell you what, we'll buy 1 from you and test it out and see if we're interested in more.
Well, that sounds wonderful. Then 50 gold pieces.
I thought you said you could give us 2 off.
Well, that was in buying in bulk. If you purchase 3, then I can give you a discount. But if you're only purchasing 1...
Oh, yeah. Alrighty.
Alright,
if the crystal works and we want to buy more, how long till you'll have more ready?
Oh, well, it's usually about a day or so to make a new batch. If you're going to buy a significant amount and you give me a heads up, then, well, I can certainly be prepared for you within a few days' notice.
We won't be back if it doesn't work. We'll see.
That is not a problem. I'm sure that it'll work for you. In fact, I bet we'll be seeing you back soon.
I'd recommend if we go and succeed what we're trying to do, we'll have more money in our pockets on the way back. Could you produce more of these blasting pouches to have them on hand for our return?
I certainly could, yes.
If I were to buy 5 of them from you on our way back, could you do them for 145 each? or 45 each.
5 off per unit at 5. Go ahead and give me a blind check.
Let's see if having a charisma-based character pays off.
Oh, 5 per unit. That's too steep, I'm afraid. I think I'll have to stick to the 2 that your friend already negotiated. So, on 5, normally that would be 250. Give you 2 off each, so call it 240.
Oh, you have a deal. If you'll have them made and ready, we should be back maybe in a week's time, maybe a little longer.
Okay, yes, I can certainly do so. You've already purchased something, so I know you're good for it. So you want 5 of the blasting powders on ready to go, and no more of the soothe salts unless you tell me, right?
I'd recommend having a few more on hand, because if they do work, we will buy more.
Okay, well, I always have a few on stock and hand ready to sell, but if it's any larger quantities, just let me know. It might take a bit of time.
I mean, I would stock up for at least 10.
Whoa, okay. Now we're talking. Yes, okay. Well, I really wish to see you back here then. I will certainly be prepared for you, my friends.
All right.
Okay, I give him the 50 gold piece and...
And that was for the blasting powder?
Yeah.
Okay, you'll notice he has to head back into his house. He closes his door pretty tightly behind you as though either he doesn't want you to see inside or maybe he's embarrassed by something inside. And moments later, you see he comes out with this simple gray pouch that is tied right at the mouth of the pouch by a simple, like, yellow yarn type of deal. He just holds it out towards you as he takes your gold, and he says, one word of caution. Obviously, don't let it get set on fire, because, well, it explodes then, unless that's what you're trying to do, but then don't be near it when that happens. And, of course, also be careful about getting it wet, because, well, if it gets all wet, it's not going to light on fire.
Is there any sort of, like, string attached to it that, like, allows you to light it without needing to be right on top of it, or...?
I could certainly sell you some homemade fuse if you like. That's much more affordable. I could give you perhaps 5 feet of fuse for, say, 1 gold piece.
Sounds like it's kind of crucial to the operation, so yeah, I'll take it.
Okay, lady. And you see he heads back in once again doing the same process, and he does bring out this 5-foot-long piece of string, which essentially acts as a fuse, and he just ties it right to the bag, showing you, and you realize that the string that's used to tie the bag closed is the same material. So when you, apparently, what he's telling you is when you light this, it'll go light to that and light on the bag, and that will cause the explosion.
We can make a nice delay with that, though.
It's quite a business you're running here.
Oh, you don't have to tell me, my lady. Yes, people come from far and wide to peruse my stocks, and I'm always trying to come up with my next invention. In fact, I've got one kind of interesting in the works, but it's not ready yet, and I never reveal anything until they're done.
Now with these soothe salts, I'm sorry, did you say, do I just eat it?
Oh, well, you see, you place it on your tongue, and, well, you kind of roll it around your... And you see he's trying to, like, demonstrate this, and you get the impression he's essentially telling you that this acts like a cough drop, or a lozenge that you just put on your tongue and just kind of suck on it, and the crystal dissolves in your mouth over time, and, yeah, that's how its effect is taken.
All right. All right, Thomas. Well, hopefully we'll see you soon.
Yes, indeed. It was very good making all of your acquaintances, and I really hope to see you all back. Now, have a good day, my friends.
What's the name of this town?
Oh, this here is Forktown.
Fork?
Yes, Forktown, named for the fork in the road.
Got it. Nice to meet you.
And you as well, my lady. It was very good making your acquaintance. You see he takes off his top hat and does this elaborate bow.
Jolly attempts to, like, curtsy, but doesn't know what she's doing.
He gives you a polite smile anyhow as he gives you that slight wave and makes his way back in the house.
All right. Got a crystal. Now, he said it was all natural. Does this look familiar to anybody?
Can't be bad for you if it's natural.
Can Hugo look at it now that he has it, like up close and like touch it and stuff, and try to figure out what it is?
So, based on what he's told you and what you've seen so far, you're pretty sure this is some kind of alchemical creation, but as none of you are familiar with alchemical creations, nobody has, like, for example, proficiency in alchemical supplies or alchemy supplies, you think it'd be really challenging to try to determine what it does without that skill set.
Okay. Hugo is proficient in nature, weirdly, but yeah, if it doesn't apply to that.
I'll give you a nature check. It'll be a higher DC that maybe you'd be able to understand one of the source ingredients, perhaps? Wow, okay. Yeah, so with that check, I would say you easily recognize this as being primarily sourced from a sooth salt geode. These are rocks that can be found in some hilly regions where they kind of all collect together, and they have this reddish hue that sort of gets absorbed from, you could think of it almost as like a combination of rust and like water, I don't want to say stagnating, but filtering through the ground there. You are pretty sure, based on what you know from sooth salt geodes, that the lethargy that he's referring to is actually exhaustion. So some folks taking this would suffer some exhaustion from it. As far as the beneficial effects, based on what he told you, and based on what you know again from the natural component of this, you presume that this has something to do with improving your intelligence checks for a period of time.
Yes, this checks out. It's made from the geodes. It'll make you brighter but tired afterwards. Now, he also mentioned that he has to stay here because he's close to the source. So, for all we... Oh, sorry. What's up, Chris?
I asked how long it would take him to make more, and he said a day. I say we wait and watch where it goes.
Yeah, I mean...
Ooh.
Well, that way we could get some of these ourselves. Now, I'm still not sure exactly how he turns it into this crystal. But that is I don't know. I don't know how moral it is, but it is something we can do.
And I would say, based on your nature check, you're quite confident that even if you had sooth salt geodes in your hand, they wouldn't have this effect. Like, that's sort of... There's clearly an alchemical process that he's using to bring this effect out from it. But that is definitely the source ingredient. But if you were to just take raw sooth salt geodes and put them in your mouth, they wouldn't do this.
He's got some knowledge of how to harness the geodes.
Well,
But maybe you'd give us a better deal if we bought him the material. I don't know.
If we have it all, he'll have to buy from us. And if he won't, we'll take it to Browglaive.
This does not sound like a good use of our time. I think he's going to be pretty upset if we take his... We can't mine an entire, like, geological thing, so...
Well, if you remember, he had a bit of a tongue slip while he was speaking, and it sounded like he said something about supplier. So perhaps this gentleman is only a distributor. Did you catch that?
I thought he was saying that he needs to be close to the source of his, like where the geodes are.
It could be, but do you know any hilly areas? I suppose that area we saw on the map near Lake... how do you say that? Drury?
We'll
I
follow
would
him.
call it Dware.
Dware.
I mean, that's why I told him I wanted 10 of these things. I don't really want 10, I don't think. I mean, maybe they're awesome and I do want 10, but I wanted to make him go and get more supplies. Just so we have a chance to follow them. I used to do some of this stuff back in the day and it's sort of fun.
Let's get ready. Let's go buy pickaxes.
All right. Someone want to keep an eye on the house? Are we doing this? Are we following him out into the woods if he goes?
Well, if he knows we won't be back for a week, I don't think he'll go right away, do you? I mean, maybe it takes him that long to travel.
The people in town still buy it. He said he was running low.
Yeah.
I could hang out here on the cart.
My only issue is the moral aspect of it. You know what I mean?
I don't think it's a great use of time, personally. But
Yes, I kind of agree. I mean, an alchemical process to create the effect, we don't have any way of doing that.
Well, I'm fine with moving on and just coming back and buying some more of this stuff if it's any good. But let's just keep that in the back of our mind that we might have a way to gain one up on Thomas.
At the very least, it's worth something to someone. If he can't leave, it has value.
That's true. We could resell it. But we still need him and his expertise. So I think maybe for now, if you all are fine with it, we just leave him be.
Fine.
Grask, did you just sarcastically sigh?
No.
I thought I heard it.
maybe a hunting trip will cheer you up.
I would like a hunting trip. I would personally love some fresh meat. I can cook it. By cook it, I hope you guys mean understand that I will just burn the meat and then eat it.
Oh, don't burn all of it.
I'd rather have it raw.
Well, that's fine. I like mine well done.
Okay, to each their own.
I'm gonna have mine in the middle. So
All
we'll
right.
have to cut it into pieces, I think.
Well, when we were on the road, I saw the woods there. We could circle back, see if maybe we could camp out around the edge of the woods and go hunting this evening. Or maybe we could take the cart down to the river and try some fishing. Could buy some fishing gear here in town.
All right. Well, just in case, I'm still gonna buy some rations.
What do you want to
Just
do, Grask?
animals.
Do you want to fish or do you want to hunt, Grask?
I wanted to hunt that man. I thought we were leaving. Charlie said that it wasn't a good use of time.
Yeah, we should continue on the trail, right?
But now you speak of fishing.
Well, yes, like continue on the trail, but like we do need to get food and, well, like you said, your rations. I mean, you're tired of eating hardtack and cheese?
That's a no. He loves it.
Sorry, was that to me? My wife came in.
He's asking if you're tired of eating cheese.
And hardtack, old bread.
I
know you want
the tack, not the cheese.
Huh. That's interesting. But I'd like a nice deer or rabbit. Shall we continue forward? Go hunting? Settle down for the evening?
Why don't we do both ideas? Grask wants to tail the man, right? And you want to go hunting. And I want to eat breakfast and drink ale at the tavern. So we can do all three.
Yeah, I was about to say, those are 3 things, Hugo.
Are you suggesting we split up or one by one?
Let's
Charlie,
split up for a
keep
little bit.
traveling.
What did you say,
what-
Grask?
I thought Charlie wanted to keep traveling.
Well, after a nice, refreshing, ale, yeah. And, those of you that lost your rations, you can pick that up before we head out, but
Yeah, I'm down for that, Jolly.
Well, okay. Let's see if we can find a tavern or inn or something in this small little fork town. Grab us a drink, come up with a plan to go hunting, and carry on.
love it.
I
Okay.
think we did lose Volts, but
Yep, yeah, he's resetting his audio. So sounds like the group wants to do some hunting. Is that the first thing?
No, I think we're going to see if we can find like a tavern in the town, Adam.
Yeah, so you can. Again, keeping in mind that this is a pretty small village, but you do notice that there is a small roadside tavern right across where you guys have parked your horses and cart, and where you see Sebastian sort of just sitting in the cart, flipping a coin on his finger, just kind of catching it. But you guys see the tavern, kind of walking up towards the door of the tavern. It's much, much smaller than the Cage Tavern and Inn, really about the size of maybe 2 normal-sized homes. So you step in, you can see there's basically just like 2 tables, a small little counter in the back, and a small little section of an area where there's casks and various not vials but kegs and that sort of thing. There doesn't look like there's any actual kitchen here for cooking.
hey, barkeep, no food here? Just beer?
You see he looks over towards you and says, "Oh, well, if you're looking for food, I could have the wife cook something for you. Occasionally people ask for fancy stuff, but we've got some breads and some cheeses and things. But if you're looking for cooked food, then yeah."
Do you hear that, Grask? Cheese. I mean, I'll just take some bread and cheese for the road then, I guess. And an ale.
Okay, yeah, he will pour out an ale for you in a horn and hand that off to you. You see he motions towards one of the tables and then looks at it and then wipes it off really quick with a cloth and then motions towards you again for you to sit there. He does wrap up some of these cheeses and breads for you. You can think of this as being the equivalent of, say, 2 days' rations, and he will sell it to you for 2 gold pieces.
Here you go. And Hugo gives him 1 gold and 3 silver. That's for you and your wife. You're doing a great job here.
And that was essentially the tip in addition to the cost?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, he smiles and says, "Oh, well, thank you very much. Appreciate that."
Does he have a red ring around his mouth?
He does not.
Should we ask him what he thinks of that?
Excuse me, Mr. Barkeep. We noticed a handful of people in town consuming these soothing salts. What do you know about them?
You see he motions with his hand. It's pish posh, all that stupid stuff that Thomas fella makes. I imagine one of these days he's just gonna blow his whole house up.
Has he always lived here?
Yeah, him and his old man, crazy as long as I can remember. Even his old man always was thinking he was going to somehow turn sap from a tree into some magic liquid, and, well, you can imagine how well that went.
Is his pop still alive?
I know the old man died 3 years now.
$50 gold seems like quite a high price. I don't want to insult everyone here, but how do people afford such a thing?
Well, people around here, there was a time when there was actually some decent money in this area, but most people have been moving away lately, to be honest. Some heading up to Proudglaive, others heading over there towards Lakeside, but at one point in time, believe it or not, there was a bit of a rush here. You see all these farmlands outside of town, that's how they are now, but before, occasionally we used to strike some interesting materials. Said that there was some wars fought here many years ago, and every now and again you'd find some, well, really strange type of weapon, or maybe a piece of armor, a shield, something like that, just from plowing the fields, and they would find it and take it to Proudglaive, and what do you know, it would have some kind of enchantment or something on it, and they'd make a boatload of money.
That's quite interesting. Do you know what was there a specific battle fought here, a famous one?
Oh, not one for the books, but something about the time of the elves and fighting against them, and all I know is they used to say they'd find moon-touched weapons, and who knows.
Well, I appreciate the information. Do you mind grabbing a few ales for me and my friends here?
Coming right up.
When was the last time something was found?
You see, he turns back and looks toward you. Oh, maybe, probably at least 5 years now?
You gotta keep trying, though, am I right?
Not me. You wouldn't catch me out there in those fields. Bad blood out there, battles fought, corpses probably still in those grounds. I can't even imagine trying to... can you imagine just stumbling into like a skeletal hand or something?
Terrifying.
That's right. I just say, mind your business, keep your eyes down, and do what you're supposed to do, and Halen will provide. Here's your ale.
Oh, praise to Halen.
Praise be.
I'll slide a gold piece to him for the ales.
Thank you kindly.
We were thinking before getting back on the road, or maybe even off of the road, to stop and do a little hunting. Is there any area close by you'd recommend?
What's your target?
Well, as you can see, we have a pretty large fellow in our group, so we would need a pretty large consumption of meat. Maybe a deer?
Well, there's stag into the forest to the north, but you gotta be careful going in there. They also have some boars, some of them pretty big, in fact, so I'd be careful with that. Sometimes southeast of here, past the fork, and the plains open, you'll find some stags out there wandering. That's probably the safest spot, to be honest.
Can you cook boar?
Well, the wife can, but depends. Not one of those giant ones. I'd be cooking all day.
Well, we appreciate your patronage, and perhaps if we're able to get some good meat, maybe we'll make our way back through town and share some with you.
Oh, that sounds mighty kindly of you, friends. One word of warning, I imagine, seeing how you're all dressed up right now, you're probably heading out west of that tournament, am I right?
Yeah, have you had a frequent amount of visitors come through?
A few, yeah, coming by and stopping in, some just right on right through, but I'll tell you, we've had some word of some bandits in the area, capitalizing on what travelers and such, so just if you're heading that way, be careful.
Did you hear about where they were having trouble? Maybe along the bridge or anything?
Now that you say that, the last guy that came back, yeah, he said they robbed him blind and didn't even let him cross the bridge, if you believe it or not. Called it some kind of bridge toll. And then finally he said, okay, I'll pay. They just took everything he had and sent him on his way.
Is there another way past that river?
It kind of narrows to the north, but I don't know if you want to try to cross it. Are you on foot? What are you on?
Got a cart.
Oh, cart. Then no. The bridge is your only hope.
Thanks for the warnings.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to see no good folk getting harmed.
Where
Food is
is
here.
the law and order here?
It's around, to be honest, but unfortunately, it seems like most of them have been pulled back towards Progglaive because of the tournament. You know how that goes, is all the rich people are going to be there, so, well, they bring everybody that's going to protect them there, too, and that leaves the rest of us to fend for ourselves.
I had a question. You know, the last town we went through, we met an interesting group. A woman and 2 knights of Halen. They hung one of the
Lalika.
townspeople.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know Lalika, yeah.
You know her?
Yeah, fine lady, yes. Yeah, she lives here in town.
Oh, she does.
She does, yeah.
So she's an investigator for Halen.
Yeah, she works for the church, but I don't know exactly what she does. She kind of keeps to herself, but a couple times when, there's been tragedies here in the village and our regular priest isn't around, she's sort of stepped in, provided services. Seems like a very nice woman.
Well, if you wouldn't mind, we actually came across something of hers, and they had already left town, and if she lives here, we could return her belongings to her house.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm sure she'd be very happy to get it back.
And you know where she lives?
Yes, of course. Let's see. So where you're at now, if you go down to 1 row and then you hang a right, she's the 3rd house on the left.
And she's lived here her whole life?
No. She was sent out by the temple. Maybe been here 1.5 years, something like that.
Before she left, did she tell anybody where she was going or what she was doing?
Not that I know of. Being a priestly lady, she doesn't spend much time in here. Occasionally, if one of the, there's like a family dispute or something and someone's pissing off here in the tavern, she might come and speak to them and try to smooth things out occasionally. But other than that, I don't see her here much. Only at the, official services and things. Occasionally a funeral.
Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate it. We'll be sure to return her stuff to her.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure she'd be happy to see whatever it is she left there. You can let her know that Dar pointed you that way. That's me. I'm Dar.
Nice to meet you, Dar. Well, these ales were good. We appreciate the advice and news. Anybody else want to ask Dar anything?
Just if I can get a refill.
Coming
She
right
wants
up. You see he will take that horn from you and go and fill it up from another cask that is tapped and set it back on the table for you with a smile.
This is a refreshing blend you've got here.
Glad to hear it. Yeah, you've been very generous, so call that one on the house.
Thanks. Thank you, Hugo.
No problem. Well, Halen's will be done, I believe, at that bridge.
Yeah, I hope you can, if they're there and you find them, well, maybe you could talk some sense into them, but if not, then, well, yep, justice is justice.
That's right. Justice is justice. Sometimes we have to do it.
And you see he nods as he makes his way back, sort of still listening, but wiping down the counter and organizing some of the stuff here.
All right. What's next? We going hunting?
Did you want to buy some tack in case we have any trouble with hunting?
We bought that bread. Should last them a few days, right? Looks good.
Yeah. It's
Okay,
not even
cool.
stale yet.
Let's go.
Well, everyone, I do believe we should return Nalika's stuff, right?
Oh, yes.
All right, so you guys make your way out of the little roadside tavern here with the intention of following the directions that Dar provided and making your way over to Lalika's house, and we will see where that leads us when we come back from our 15-minute break, folks. See everybody in 15.
See you 15.
Alrighty, folks, we are back on the second half of our session. So the group is currently in transit to Lalika's house within the town of Forktown. All right, so yes, as you guys are in the small village and you've been given directions by the barkeep Dar towards Lalika's house, is it your intention to essentially just head right there?
Yeah, I think so. Hugo will follow Basane's lead.
Okay, I actually should have asked about this before we came back from the break. I think this came up while my audio was being fixed. What did we learn about Lalika's house?
We just learned that Lalika lives here, and we just told him that we had something of hers and that she had left before we could give it back, so we asked where her house was. But apparently she only moved here like a year and a half ago, and then she just took off in this direction. So really what Basan would like to do is get in the house and see if maybe Hugo can come with him since he investigated the last house too, but see if we can find anything that matches, like those blood runes or anything that's suspicious about this girl.
Gotcha.
All right, and then one other quick FYI. So based on Hugo's really good roll here, I'm actually going to go ahead and give you guys the full effects or the information on the Soothe Salts. So there's that handout there. So just as an FYI, Hugo, that was actually a nat 20 for a 28 nature check. So yeah, I think you pretty got a good idea of what these are going to do.
Nice.
So
That man could have predicted what type of tree something was with that kind of check. That's good, man.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Now the other one, the blasting powder, you guys don't know as well, so I've just kept this more vague as far as the exact effects, but I've put that there as well for your reference.
Thanks.
All right, so yes, you guys make your way over towards Lalika's house, and following the instructions given to you by Dar, it's very easy to get to this location. It's essentially a house in rows, and there's not many of them, maybe altogether 5 rows of houses with like 4 or 5 houses in each row. So again, this whole village might only be 100 people or something like that total. But the house is easy to find. It looks very similar to some of the other houses. I would say the only thing you notice about this one is perhaps the outside, like the grassy area, the yard, you might think of it like that, is not nearly as upkept or pretty as some of the other homes, where some of the other homes might have some flowers here or there, or might have something else of interest, like some kind of decorative small statue or anything along those lines. This house is kind of plain and seemingly, the grass is a little bit longer. It doesn't seem as though it's well maintained.
Any neighbors, or is it kind of lone?
Nope, it's in a row of houses. So yeah, you can think of a neighbor on either side. Probably, 20 feet separates each house, something like that.
Okay. People out and about in the streets?
Being that this is a village, there's not really so much streets as little paths. And yeah, again, the whole village is maybe 100 people. So you might see a person here or there. But being that this is predominantly a farming village, you presume most people are out in the fields or tending to other types of business.
Well, we could slip around the back, see if there's a back door or entrance that way, and just give us maybe 10 minutes to look around.
I mean, are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah, why not? Look, Hugo, Halen's whole principle is justice, and if somebody is going around casting faux justice because they feel like they have the power, then don't you and anyone else who follows Halen have a right to squash that up?
I mean, I don't know if it was faux or she just thought uh, that the girl did it. Like, I think she might have just made a mistake.
Well, I'll go in and poke around with you.
See? Yes. Okay. Maybe we, Grask and Hugo, maybe you take the cart with Sebastian and maybe ride to the end of the path or so, and we'll circle around the row of houses and see if we can get in the back.
All right.
It'll be
Okay.
quick. We won't
Don't-
take anything.
If,
We
don't
won't?
do anything you can't take back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm only curious as to, well, where her knowledge of dark magic and all of this comes from. It's just a curious person we met on the road, and she conveniently lived in the next town. So coincidences happen, but very rarely.
Sounds like she barely lives here anyway, so who knows what we'll find.
All right. We'll get Sebastian. You guys do a little snooping, but, just be careful. We want to come back to this place at some point.
Yeah, I completely understand. All right. Well,
Should we go
Tell me-
invisible? The same?
yeah. Well, let's get around the corner where we're not out in the open, and maybe, yeah. I don't see why not. It would assist.
It's fun. I like it.
So yeah, Adam, you said the houses are in a row, like row houses.
Yes.
I think I can like mentally count and then go around and then come back and count down to see if I can find the back entrance to this house.
Well, there's 20 feet that separate each house, so yeah, it's row, but they're not real tight or anything like that.
Oh,
To the
I got
point-
you. I got you. Okay, so in between the two houses, as like, we go around to the back end, in that particular path, does it seem like, are there any people, or is it, pretty empty just for me and Jolly?
I mean, here and there, you certainly spot a person, but it doesn't look like any of them are paying attention to you. They're just kind of going about their homeowner ways and just taking care of things here and there.
Okay, I'm going to wait until I feel like a good nobody eye on me kind of thing. Nobody's walking by the alleys at the same time kind of thing. And then I'm going to cast invisibility on myself and Jolly.
Okay, and just quick technical check here. Is anybody else not hearing the music?
I can
I
hear.
hear it. It's
I
just
hear it.
very light, but I hear it.
Okay, so it must be on my end because the tracks keep pausing and dying. So weird. Okay, so hopefully we'll get that fixed next time. But all right, yeah. So you take a moment here, Bassane, casting the spell, and you casting this on yourself and Jolly, and yes, that will take effect.
Okay, Jolly. Do you have thieves' tools, or would you like the set that I have?
I've got some.
Okay. Well, let's be thieves. Haha.
Yeah, I do. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna head up to the back door and try opening it. Well, I'll try listening first to make sure that she doesn't have anybody like watch the house while she's gone.
Okay, yeah. So you go to the back door and listen carefully. Go ahead and give me a blind check here. It is very quiet in the house. You listen carefully for a moment, listening for anything, and no, it is utter silence.
So now I'll try my hand at popping open the door.
Yes, you can tell the door is indeed locked.
I'm gonna try to open it with my thieves' tools.
Okay, so you get down on a
Okay.
knee here, breaking out your little tool kit, and start pulling those tools out.
Can I burn my inspiration for her roll with her thieves tool?
Sure.
Cool. There you go.
So
Advantage.
You give some encouraging words here as Jolly takes a look at the lock. Jolly, go ahead and give another blind check. And you have the option of using either intelligence or dexterity for this. What would you like to use?
That would be dexterity.
Okay. Yes, you have no problem whatsoever opening this lock. You take your tools to it, and within 30 seconds or so, it pops open. Seems like a fairly standard issue lock, fairly easy for you.
I'm just gonna like slowly push it open, like a gust of wind has just pushed it open.
Sure, yeah, fair enough. So the door opens slowly, and to anybody that might be observing, that's what they'd see, though you don't see anybody around. The inside of the home looks very plain as well. There's not much in here at all. You can see that there is, some furniture like a table, that type of stuff, a pot near a fireplace, some real basics, but the only area that really seems almost at all lived is there is a desk pushed up against one of the walls here, where two walls meet actually, and you can see that there is some paperwork here, as well as ink quills, like an ink pot. You can see some other odds and ends sort of writing instruments and things on the table.
Oh, Jolly, watch me for just a moment. Let me check over her notes and things and see if I can just get to the bottom of what she was doing.
Okay, I'm gonna like try to like stand guard and like look out the windows and stuff and make sure I don't see anybody.
Okay, yeah, so far so good, Jolly. You're not seeing anybody approaching. Basan, you head on in and you investigate the desk, essentially?
Yeah, before I start pulling any drawers or anything out, I already feel a little untrustworthy towards this lady, so I just want to make sure she hasn't left behind any booby traps. So I'm going to see if I can find any kind of trap or anything around it, and I can pull out the thieves' tools that I have in the bag of holding to see if I can find any wires or anything.
Yep, so just spotting traps or a sign of a trap won't require thieves' tools, but yeah, go ahead and give me a blind check. We'll see if you're able to spot anything like that.
Okay, here we go.
You don't see any kind of traps in this vicinity. It just looks like a plain home.
All right, so first on top of the desk, you said there's like some notes.
Yeah, well, there's paper, right? So there's odds and end paper, there's writing utensils, there's ink, but this does look almost like a note writing station, but as you look over them, you don't see that any of these pieces of parchment actually have writing on them at the moment. Go ahead and give me a blind check as you kind of just do a brief investigation of this area.
Okay.
Yeah, so what I will say is you notice, again, that I mentioned there is a fireplace here, and there's a pot sort of hanging over an iron, you could think of this as like a pole that holds onto the iron pot. You do notice as you're kind of scanning around the note-taking table and then nearby to the fire, there are fragments of parchment that are sort of peeking out right at the edge of the fire, indicating to you that there's been significant paperwork burned in this fire recently. Most of the papers on the table look to be just blank sheets of paper. Some of them are a little bit more like scrunched up, but even when you unfold those ones, all you see on them is some strange like shapes and symbols. There doesn't seem to be any words on them.
Can I go over to the fire and see if I can find anything salvageable and readable?
You're just seeing, think of it as like as paper is sort of burning up, and if a stack was thrown in there and maybe someone's like stoking the fire or pushing with like an iron to get the paperwork more solidly into the fire, occasionally little bits will kind of fly out. That's what you're noticing here. And as you kind of check near the edge, see if anything is whole or not burnt, no, it looks like there's been a good amount of care taken to make sure these papers are burned, and just these scraps on the edges are all you see.
Okay, and with the desk, there were any drawers or cabinets or anything on the desk?
There is a couple small drawers built into the desk, yes.
Okay. I'll go back over to the desk and open those up. It looks like somebody covered their tracks, but I'm gonna see if maybe they forgot something.
So based on your previous check, as you kind of search through these drawers here, there's nothing apparent right away, but as you kind of like kneel down, put your hand around, that sort of thing, there is a small piece of paper that's been affixed to the top of one of these drawers. So not in plain sight, but once you reach in and kind of feel around for it, you're able to find it. You kind of have to pull it off of the roof, you could think of this drawer. And as you take it out, you can see some of these same symbols once again. It only looks like a partial cipher, if you had to guess, as there's a few symbols, and then it sort of maps to what those letters are, but it's not the full Enwerian alphabet here, so it seems as though there's parts missing.
Okay, but there is at least a partial code to the cipher.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll collect it, and then I'll collect anything that has any symbols on it. But while I'm looking over and seeing if they have symbols on it, I want to see if I can find the symbol that we saw, the blood rune. Is that popping up on any of the papers?
You look carefully, and none of them resemble that same rune that you saw over there in the other village.
Okay, all right. And other than is there an upstairs?
There's not. No, this is a pretty simple, small home.
Okay. So after I step away from the desk, and I just want to go over to where the bed is and just give that a good little search and once over and see if there's anything stashed underneath it, or maybe a loose floorboard or something similar.
All right, yeah, so you spend a bit more time searching this area as well. There is a cabinet here that just contains some clothing. So you can see a few different changes of clothing, undergarments, shirts, some skirts, that kind of thing. Nothing that looks particularly suspicious. Looking under the bed and around, and there's a small end table near the bed as well. You do a once over on that. Nothing that seems out of the ordinary, just seems like simple living accoutrements.
Okay, so I will spend a moment just trying to reset everything so it doesn't look like people were in here just going crazy looking around. Obviously, I took some papers and that code, but I'm going to go and find Jolly and say, oh, okay, I think I found something, but we can get out of here.
So go ahead and give me a blind check for that as well to see how well you recall exactly where everything was, maybe the way the sheets were, the cloth, all of that kind of deal, and try to set it back perfectly. Okay.
All right. So I'll gather Jolly, and I guess we'll try to slide back out of the house unless she wants to look for anything.
Trust your abilities, so I'm going to try to lock it back up on our way out.
Yeah, you're able to do so fairly easily. So you guys exit, pull the door closed. Once again, using your thieves' tools, essentially just doing the reverse of what you just did. And yes, you have locked the door once again.
While we're invisible, should we poke in through a few other houses? There wasn't much in that one.
Well, we weren't going in that house to rob it. Do you like to steal things from other people? It's okay. I'm just curious.
I don't know. I've never been invisible before.
It is. It's quite thrilling.
That's for sure.
Well, we've got like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. I can allow you to stay that way. Did you want to do anything? I'm down for trying something. Sure.
The possibilities are endless.
What if we went back to that guy Thomas's house? See if we could sneak in invisibly to his house.
Ooh. Yeah, that would be interesting. I'm wondering what he was hiding behind this door.
Well, yeah. Well, now that I think about it, we did tell Grask and Hugo we'd only be like 10 minutes.
Well, yeah, we should definitely meet up with them.
All right. And I believe Grask and Hugo, if I remember correctly, you guys were heading to let Sebastian know he could take some time away from the cart.
Yep.
All right. So as the two of you get there, you see he looks a little bit surprised. Ah, there you are. Okay. So I hope it's my time. You can sit here and watch the cart. It's been sitting here for some time. So, yes. And you see he just kind of gets up and scans around, does this stretch, and then smiles and starts wandering as he's flicking this coin in his finger.
Don't take too long.
And you hear him just sort of laugh over his shoulder, and you get this sort of like, he's ironic laughter, you might say.
Hey. He's gonna take forever.
That's fine.
All right, anything in particular Basan or Grask are doing while just sitting here watching the cart?
Hugo, you mean, right?
Or yes, I'm sorry, Hugo and Grask.
Just making sure I didn't accidentally teleport or something crazy.
You never know.
Hugo,
Yeah. What's up, Grask?
what is it you did to make people chase you?
You know. Little something here, little something there.
People forget about little things.
You know, you got a bad reputation. Sometimes they don't care what you do. They're gonna come for you. So, it was time for me to get out of there.
Is it going to be a problem?
No. I was small potatoes back then. You know.
Good.
But all the best, we don't go announcing our presence too much. Or at least me.
Just the usual then.
Yeah. Don't stick out too much.
All right, and after this bit of time, the two invisible characters will make their way back to the cart, noticing Grask and Hugo, I imagine, sort of leaning against it.
I would have dropped the invisibility in a place where we weren't, like, obviously out and about.
Okay, sure, we can assume that.
Hello.
Oh,
We're back.
Where did Sebastian go?
he's going to take care of his whatever errands he had.
Well, I didn't find riches and carcasses of dead animals, of black magic and things, but, well, it was curious. Hugo, she had obviously tried to burn something behind her, massive wads of notes. There were a few notes left over, though. Here, I found these. And also, she had this hidden, and I'll hand him the key, the partial key. It looks like some kind of codex to decipher these symbols. But none of them match the rune that we saw on the floor of that place.
Oh, so this isn't blood magic. Well,
Could be
what
instructions
does it
also.
mean?
Well, it will take me a while to piece together a few of these things, and it's only a partial code, so I don't know right now, but it's not incriminating, but it's also not incriminating. Wow, that was a lot of negatives. Not.
Well, let's just hope that we figure it out before she figures out that someone stole it from her, in case it's not bad.
I think I did a good job covering my tracks, Hugo. You don't do me enough credit on my espionage.
I'm just scared of the church.
Not something you should be scared of, but I understand. However, I guess we wait for Sebastian's return, and then we go hunting? Is that the plan?
Sounds good.
We didn't tell him about hunting. He might not be back for a while.
He sort of blew me off when I said to be quick about it. He might be
Oh.
trying to find the only gambling in this tiny town has to offer. I don't know where it would be, though.
Hassan had a cool idea of us going invisible and poking our head into Thomas's house. See what he was hiding.
I don't want to take full credit for that idea, Charlie.
I mean, he let some... Wasn't there other people in his house when we got there? He showed somebody was in there.
Somebody was leaving.
Well, if he comes out of his house to do engagements with us, maybe a few of us go back, say, oh, we want to buy a few more things, and someone slips in the back, and bada bing, bada boom. But, I mean, we can just continue on, go hunting. It does not matter to me.
I'm really traveling with a pack of criminals, huh? Look at these two, Grask.
The idea was no good 10 minutes ago. I don't understand.
I thought the initial idea was to track him and get pickaxes and gather up the raw materials that we don't know what to do with. Am I mistaken?
No, I think that was the plan, Jolly. It's funny the way you put it, though.
But what are you guys gonna do invisible, like? You just gonna steal his stuff?
I don't know.
Just poke my
Jolly-
head in.
Yeah, Jolly
Nice.
finds thrill in being invisible, so why not allow her to pursue that thrill?
I'm just trying to kill time.
All right. We'll have the cart ready to go, though.
Okay, so it sounds like Basan, you're intending to cast invisibility again, and you and Jolly are going exploring.
Are we really doing that, guys?
Up
I
to
mean,
you.
I'm down. I'm honestly, I'm down for it, but with the time for our session and everything, is that what we want to do, or do we want to go hunting, or what?
I'm fine with it. I don't know what we'll say in conversation with him.
Well, how about me and Hugo go have a conversation with him, and Grask and Jolly go invisible? It doesn't have to be me.
My stealth's real bad.
My stealth is also bad, but I mean,
Goodness.
You don't
You guys-
need to have a conversation with him necessarily to get inside his house. I'm sure the people are going in and out.
That's what I was thinking.
I lied. My stealth's pretty good. I thought I had disadvantage with my armor. But it's also not my style.
Well,
It really doesn't matter for me.
You guys go, but be quick, because we gotta kill some bandits on the bridge after this.
maybe we should save your spell slots then.
Okay, do you guys want to essentially hang out here at the cart until you see Sebastian make his way back?
Yeah. I suppose.
Sounds good.
How is the bridge that we need to travel to like a day away, or would we hit it with today?
Well, based on what we just saw there, about 5 hours of travel or so to get to the bridge.
It's still kind of like morning too, right? Or like midday, so we should be able to hit that.
I think you guys, if I remember correctly, you guys traveled like 2-ish hours from the first village to the second.
Yep. And it's the only way for us to cross with our cart, according to the guy.
And can someone get a short rest in the cart while we're traveling?
A short rest? Yes. Okay, and I lied. So from the previous village, you can travel 3 miles per hour. So to get to where you're at now, call that 4 hours. And then to get to the bridge, you'd be looking at about 5 hours. So if you went there straight through, you would be pushing again at that edge of your travel time. Now, again, it is the horses that are getting truly tired, not you guys. So if you pushed it, you'd risk a bit of the horses' exhaustion, but you potentially could do it.
Yeah, I say let's go for it. I want to fight some bandits, buds.
Yeah, we need to lay the smack down.
Yeah, we got this blasting powder. We need to see how it works.
All right.
It'll be
So you guys essentially hang out here at the cart for another 2 hours before you see Sebastian making his way.
what?
Can we short rest during
Oh.
that 2 hours?
You
You
can,
did good.
yes. So you will notice Sebastian coming back with a big old smile on his face as he is approaching. Yes, this is very well. This is one of my favorite towns. So much fun. But you look ready to go. I hope to not keep you waiting too long.
Only about an hour and a half ago.
They said I need to stretch my legs, and and sometimes you need to just be having a good time.
If you want to stretch your legs, you can walk next to the cart.
Yes, I think I do this. Yes, I am feeling that I have a little, pep in my step.
Did you win?
And you see he gives you one of those, like, wink and a nod and a, gun sign towards you.
Good.
So, Sebastian, this bridge up ahead on this river, we've heard, has bandits been trying to take over people who are going to the tournament this way. So, our plan is to meet these bandits head on. Just wanted to make sure you're aware.
Oh, this is good to know, but if you know that they are there, are you sure that you just want to face them head down? Perhaps we should come up with misdirection, some things like this, so they won't even expect us, and then we spring the trap on them? You see he looks around at a bunch of blank faces. Maybe not. Maybe we just go and we see what happens.
Yeah, that's right. That's our style.
No.
What did you have in mind?
I do not know, but so let's see. The bridge is probably easy to think that they will wait until we are on the bridge to strike. So maybe we are not in the cart. Maybe we just send one to two, and the others are waiting behind, or something like this, so we can take most advantage if we know.
Or people are invisible.
My favorite.
Yes, this would work as well. Yes.
Good thinking.
Okay, who all would like to take a short rest during this time?
I would, please.
Okay, sounds like just Basan, so we'll go ahead and apply that. Okay, so is the plan then? You guys are going to wait till you get closer to this bridge, and then when you're a distance away, you're going to cast invisibility and then move on to the bridge?
I mean, we could do that, guys, or I could just fireball the whole group of them, and then we just ride through like bats out of hell.
Did we have any idea how many we're looking at?
He didn't
No.
say. But he did say that they stripped that one guy of everything he owns, so it's got to be more than just a handful.
The bridge is advantage to them. We have to cross there to get aside. And if we damage the bridge, they'll come after us. Not the bandits, but the guards.
Well, if you'd like, maybe we could buy a tarp and lay it across the back of the cart here. A few of you lay down underneath it like your cargo. I'll ride and, like I'm steering the horses, and maybe Sebastian walk beside or something, and we could spring out and ambush them if an attack breaks out, or I could just try to smooth talk my way past them.
They're definitely going to search any wagon that comes through if the bandits of any worth. So they'll find us, I think, if we try that. But if we jump out and suddenly attack, good work.
You know which plan I'm going to vote for? The invisible one.
I say we fight them. We know they've been robbing people. If we beat them, it's all ours.
He's got a point.
I mean, if we're like aiming for that, I feel like one person should go in like by themselves. So they're distracted, like chatting with that person, trying to get that person's stuff while the rest of us attack or something.
I could do that. I could be, frail old man making his way across town. Or maybe make a few of you invisible, follow me closely, and maybe Hugo a little further behind with Sebastian. So Sebastian's bow and Hugo's magic from afar.
That's my personal favorite.
That sounds good. We can do that, and that would give us an advantage. And I do have this other spell that allows me to, it's complicated, but I can smell wealth. Depends. Have you ever heard of Mamon's avarice?
No, never.
I've seen it.
Yeah, we knew someone that could do that too.
Well, perhaps after we've disbanded the bandits, I could use that to locate their stash for us.
All right.
Oh, works for me. What do you think? Everybody agree with that plan?
I think we're going to rid this area of a scourge.
Let's jump back by the inn. The barkeep spoke to people who'd seen them. Maybe he has an idea of their numbers.
Yeah, that'd be good to know.
Okay, so it sounds like you guys want to stop back by the roadside tavern here.
Yep, we're gonna ask Dur. What was his name? Dur?
Dar.
Dar. We're gonna ask Dar. How many of those bandits were there that robbed that man?
Oh, I think he said there was just a handful, if I remember correctly.
All right, consider it taken care of.
I'm glad to hear that. That would be great.
Hugo confidently walks away.
Okay, so it sounds like you guys are in the car and riding towards the bridge, and I just want to make sure I understand your plan carefully enough. So is the first course of action is once you spot the bridge, then you're going to essentially cast some spells, something along those lines?
Yeah, maybe we'll veer off, we won't go straight head on. We'll once we kind of get an eye on the bridge coming up or hear the water, we'll veer off the road. And then I think I'll take the cart by myself and then maybe have two invisible, Grask and Jolly, behind the cart. And then behind them, not invisible, is Sebastian and Hugo at a bit of a distance, so they can cover us. Maybe like on the sides of the road, like going through the trees or something like that.
Yep, that's what I was thinking too.
Okay, so
cool.
to make sure we've got that all correct, let's go ahead and say you guys have traveled down the path. You're getting, so you've traveled for about a little over 2 hours, closer to 3 hours, and off in the distance now you do spot this bridge. So say you're about 100 yards from this bridge. You see it's going across the river here. Obviously, the dimensions on this aren't exactly correct. It's not really a 3-mile long bridge. That's just shown for reference. But it's a reasonable sized bridge. It's not particularly massive. As you're kind of eyeing it from a distance here, I'll just give you rough approximations. Yeah, it might be, I don't know, 60, 70, 80 feet across, something like that. And it's about 15 feet wide, something in those realms.
Okay. So plenty big for the cart. No problem there, right?
Right, and it's a stone-looking bridge, so it looks pretty sturdy. It even has like railings on the side, so you get the impression this is probably built by the domain itself. It's not just some shackle-type bridge that somebody put up.
The picture had me thinking this was going to be a rickety wood bridge. If it's made of stone, does it look like it could survive an explosion?
I guess it depends on how big of an explosion. You think like a fireball certainly wouldn't destroy the bridge, but if it was concussive enough to actually shake the stone foundations, then sure.
Okay, and now to just give Adam another curveball, we're going to hunt for deer.
We're gonna dip over here to this forest, and we'll deal with this another day. No, I'm just kidding.
I like to say I'm prepared for anything, but you never know.
So, that sound like a good plan still, guys? I mean, it's all looking good to me still.
Yeah, I think so.
Remind me of it one more time. Who's invisible?
Grass,
Me.
Jolly.
Are the others hidden on the cart, or they're just walking beside you?
We're farther back.
They're
we're
farther back.
Hidden by distance, by being
No-
like 120 feet away.
They'll use range attacks to be able to attack from afar if they need to.
If
Okay.
two people are talking, like how far away can you be and still hear?
I mean, if you're trying to whisper, obviously it's close. If you're just saying, speaking in a normal volume, generally I'd say if you're within 30 feet, it's pretty easy to hear that. Once you go beyond 30 feet, 35, again, probably no problem. But if you're at like the 60-foot mark, that might be more challenging. You have to shout. And then obviously other people can hear you at that range as well. So, I would think roughly keep those dimensions in mind.
Maybe we should have a signal.
Yeah.
Is it nighttime, Adam?
So let's see. You guys traveled for another, so it's getting closer to nighttime. I would say it's early evening at this point. I think 6:30, something like that.
Well, I have an idea. I have, like I said before, I may look human, but I'm not necessarily human. I have an ability that allows me to kind of sprout these skeletal, ghostly wings. I can't fly with them, but they are terribly frightening to the right crowd. What if things are not going well? You guys see me throw these wings into the air. It may scare a few of them, but that will be our signal to immense our operation.
All right.
Works for me.
So,
How skeletal?
They're pretty skeletal. They're like if you were to strip the wings of an eagle.
there's no meat there for you, Grask.
I don't love it.
Yes, as long as you all are not within 10 feet of me, you should not succumb to its effects.
All right. If I see wings, I come blasting.
I'd never be afraid of bones.
Okay, well, I will, I guess, Adam, we've kind of like dipped over to the side and stopped like we had planned, right?
Yeah, so you're about 100 yards from the bridge at this point.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and, can I just do a scan of my surroundings? Can I see if maybe we're being watched before I start casting any spells?
Go ahead and throw me a blind check. So you surveil the area, and you don't notice anybody spotting you, but with that check, what I will say is you kind of look more towards the bridge. You notice off in the distance, nearby the bridge, there's kind of like a valley to the northeast of it that rises quickly into a fairly decent-sized hill. So the way that you're coming from, you technically could get up on that hill. It'd be really challenging to go from the hill to the bridge, though, but it would certainly give you a height advantage there. There's also some hills to the southeast of the bridge, no valley there. And then you'll spot across the bridge that there's pretty heavy treed over there. So think of it as being like more forested area on the west side of the bridge.
And the large hill that like kind of looks down over the bridge, is it like right beside it, or is it a
Yes.
few? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so the valley is within 25 feet of the bridge. The hill itself is more like 50 feet. So think of it as like a valley, and then there's a sharp increase in the elevation, basically just like a sheer rock wall that goes straight up.
Okay. So from what I see up ahead, it depends on how the bandits would want to approach us. But if it was me, I would have some people up on that hill out of sight and have somebody down low. Maybe they have a signal as well for an ambush. So we may be able to trigger their ambush, but we might need to get somebody on top of that hill. So maybe one of the invisible folks goes up towards the top of the hill and the other one stays kind of behind the cart, just in case. What do you think of that?
Sounds fine to me, but I'm a little better in hand-to-hand combat.
Yes, if there's nothing on top of the hill, I think you're quite fast, though, Jolly. You could make your way down pretty quickly to meet us near the bridge if you needed to join us in combat. But if there were a few archers up there, you would have the advantage because, well, they've got bows.
Okay.
What do you think, everyone?
Good.
Yeah. Let's be strategic about this.
Yes, and there's pretty heavily wooded on the other side, so if we need to make a break for it, we can say, how about we travel, if we have to run across the bridge for whatever reason and escape, let's say we veer left off the bridge and cut through the trees and meet back around the river's edge. Does that sound okay, everybody?
All right. And I'm still looking for wings, right?
Yep. That will be the signal. But I'll give Jolly a little bit extra time to swing around to that hill, and then I'll commence talking to them.
Okay, so I've got the plan as this. I just want to make sure I understand you guys. So Jolly's going to climb the hill while she's invisible. So Basan, you're going to burn your invisibility spell on Grask and Jolly. Jolly's going to ascend that hill and be looking down over the bridge. Basan, you're going to be in the cart with the horses at front, leading it across the bridge. Grask is invisible on the side or nearby the cart. And then Hugo and Sebastian are 120 feet back from the cart, just watching to see what happens.
Yep, trying to be stealthy and like leaving the cart stealthily, but trying to like sort of hide amongst the trees on the side of the road.
Like not the Sebastian and Hugo won't be walking on the actual path, but they'll be walking on either side of the path towards where, it's not out in the open, if that makes sense, Adam.
If there's a place like that.
But I think the key here is you want to be about 120 feet back, right?
Yeah, pretty much, or like 100 to 120 feet.
Okay, so I think I've got the plan, so I'm going to move you guys to the map now with this assumption that you're approaching with this plan. I see this last mark here. Grask, how far back from the cart do you want to be?
How about cast invisibility real quick, Adam, so it's burnt?
Yep, yeah, go ahead and do that.
I'll just do as they suggest for me. So if he says 15 feet, that's about how far back I'll be.
Okay, so I'm going to move you guys to this map so you can get a little bit better visual of this. if I've got somebody, and Hugo and Sebastian, unfortunately, based on that distance, you're off map. So I'm going to keep you on the map, but you're not really where your tokens are. So keep that in mind. If I've got anybody in the wrong spot, feel free to update me or just explain what you mean.
Yeah, I think I'd just be in like the middle of the cart, but yeah, that looks good to me.
Okay, so I'm not.
Are there are there trees up where I am?
Not anywhere close. Not within, say, 60 or 70 feet of you now.
Okay.
Okay, so it sounds like everybody's good then. So from where you're at, and again, Hugo and Sebastian. So Hugo, you're from where the cart is. That's only 45, so you're basically another 75 feet back. So keep that in mind. So as the cart starts moving, you're just leading it across, and Grask, you're just trying to keep pace, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how this goes then. And Hugo, are you trying to keep pace as well? Like, are you getting closer?
Yeah. Basically, yeah. I'll just keep pace with the cart.
Okay, so as the cart gets onto the stone bridge, and you can hear the sound obviously moving across these stones, it echoes out over the water quite loudly. You continue moving in this direction, crossing the bridge. So again, at this point in time, just for a quick update, this is now 90, so you're still about 30 feet off map at this point, Hugo. And it's at this point now, Basan, where you will notice stepping out from the tree cover to the other side of the bridge is several human individuals. So they're going to step out, and as they do, you see the one in the lead hold his hand up, and he says, "Whoa, whoa there, whoa." Grask, from where you're standing, you hear the sound of movement nearby as you realize now from underneath the bridge comes some additional individuals who climb up this slope from underneath the bridge and make their way to the back side of the bridge here. Okay, so he's holding up his hand, Basan. The other individuals don't seem to recognize Grask's presence immediately. They don't recognize Jolly either. They're sort of focused towards the bridge, so they're not really looking at Hugo at the moment. But yes, so you will see, Basan, do you do anything immediately when he calls for you to stop?
Whoa! Whoa, Limp and Biscuit. Whoa. I'll slow the horses down. And maybe allow him to move like maybe 5 more feet forward at him, but I'll slow him down.
Okay, and Grask, are you trying to move at this time as you've seen these guys come nearby you? You know you're invisible, but obviously movement makes noise.
Am I worried that they would bump into me if I just stood here?
It's certainly possible.
Then as they step, with the sand of their boots, I'll try and move towards the cart.
Okay, so go ahead and give me a blind check, Grask, as you're trying to move very quietly. Okay, yep, so you step forward. They don't seem to notice. They keep focusing their eyes in that direction, but not looking directly at you. All right, the lead guy here, Basan, again, holding up his hand as he sees you slowing the horses down. You see he continues to advance, and these other guys sort of form a block here. And you see he calls out, fine day, isn't it today, Fred?
Oh, it's beautiful. We've been traveling all day. Just dropped some wares off back at Forktown. Who are you? I don't think I've seen you before, not on this path.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. And as a matter of fact, I'm a member of the Forktown Area Beautification Committee. You see, it's our plan to try to make sure everything looks really nice around here. And as you can see, well, this bridge has seen better days. We need, some money to try to make sure to improve it. Make sure heavy carts with horses like yours can stand up for years to come. So, unfortunately, there is a bridge tax here, my friend.
Oh, okay. Well, that's new, but not unheard of. Do you mind if I step off my cart? My knees are old and, well, it's been a long ride.
Please, come on down.
Okay. I'm gonna, like, step down at him and, like, go in between the horses towards where he's at and kind of, like, maybe put my hand on one of the horses' head and give him a little scratch and say, this bridge tax, how much is it?
All right, and as you ask that question, just a quick FYI for you, Jolly. So this here is the valley. This is actually part of the rock wall. So I know you being a tabaxi do have a climb speed. So if you're comfortable hanging on the side of the wall, you could technically be starting to scale it down. But if you want to be into a position where you're able to stand and, let's say, shoot, for example, you would need to be on like the flat ground up here. So would you rather be up here flat, or do you want to be on the side beginning to scale down the wall?
Since I didn't find anybody up there, I'm going to start scaling down.
Okay, so you're scaling down. Obviously, you're using your claws and basically digging them into the side of this rock as you're making your way down. So I'll ask for you to make a stealth check as well. We'll just see how loud that operation is as you're scaling your way down the side of the wall.
Public?
Just blind check, please. Okay, yes, you're descending down that side. Yes, as you ask this question, Basan, you see he looks towards you and he says, "Oh, well, the exact fee is percentage based, you see. Those who have more have to give more. It's only fair. See, you're quite wealthy. You have 2 horses and a cart. My, you must be doing quite well in life. Well, let's take a look and see what you have in this cart,
Oh, like I said, I dropped off all of my wares.
He's going to essentially do the same thing you just did, where he slides by you and starts making his way back towards the cart.
Okay, I'm just going to kind of make a step this way and kind of like towards his companions over here and wave to them and say, Hi! Are you guys part of the committee as well?
You notice one of them sort of grins. Oh, yeah, I'm a committee member for sure. And you see he's got this rotten tooth smile as he looks at you. You can see he's got a scimitar at his side, and all 3 of them are currently holding onto crossbows. They are pointed more towards the ground, though.
Okie dokie.
You hear the guy who's looking in the cart, and pretty much, unless I'm wrong, guys, you don't really have much in the cart here. Is that right?
Yeah, there's nothing in there. It's just been us that we've been carrying in it.
So all your supplies, like gear, is just on your own persons.
Or in the bag of holding, yeah.
Okay, so you see he looks around the cart and then looks back over to you. What are you transporting, friend? I don't even see anything in here. You're not just riding by yourself, are you?
Like I said, I just dropped everything off in Forktown. I don't know why I didn't catch you on my way past, but I left from Proudglaive with a couple of barrels of mead for their inn.
You see he shakes his head and he just motions with his hand. He says, "Grab him, let's see what he's got." And that's where we'll go ahead and lock the tokens, as we will enter initiative order at this point.
Dun dun dun. Wasn't too bad for an ambush, I guess.
We knew it would go this way.
Okay, that's interesting. It looks like our marker's not working exactly right. And actually, it looks like the initiative was never cleared. Okay, hang on one sec. Let me get rid of anybody that doesn't need to be in here. Okay, so I think we're good there. If I missed anybody, we'll just get rid of them in a moment. All right, let's put on some more up-tempo music.
Adam, when he said grab him, was it like obviously pretty loud? I know you said, I mean, normal conversation doesn't go, but I'm imagining
he's calling. I mean, I wouldn't say he's shouting at the top of his lungs or anything like that, but he's certainly calling over in that direction. So yes, I mean they can certainly hear him. He's he pointing towards you and saying grab him. So yeah, they can certainly hear him.
Cool. Yeah. Just yeah. Because if they're 40 feet away, then I imagine like probably Jolly could hear it, and so could probably Grass too.
Yes. Yes. And again, I would say, in this area where things kind of echo a bit, sort of kind of deal. So even Hugo and Sebastian, where they're at, they might not hear the exact words, but they can hear some kind of communication.
Starting to go bad, Sebastian.
All right. I think it's something weird's going on with the music in Roll20. Some tracks are working and some are not. And also, we got some doubled up tokens. Interesting. Okay, let me just get rid of that. Okay, so we'll see how this goes. Okay, so Sebastian's turn. As he hears this, he looks towards you, Hugo, and he says, do we strike first? What should we do?
He hasn't shown the wings yet, but move closer and let's get ready to fight.
All right, so he will move that 30 feet to get essentially on the battle map where he is now, and then he's going to use his action to hide to try to make it where they can't detect him where he's at the moment.
that big old bag of gold just weighing him down.
So Basan's turn. I'm not sure what's going on with our little... Let me try resetting the sandbox one more time.
Oh, is it my turn?
I am super confused because the turn order is not going in the order I see the turn order list.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's showing me this guy's next.
Real okay. So
And then this guy.
I have a feeling there's something messed up with the script. So let's let it fully reset here.
But if you want me to go this high in initiative, I'm really not upset with it.
No, I on my list, so it's funny, I've got the recording screen, and then I've got my screen, and yeah, the initiatives are different between the two.
Also, Jolly's not in the initiative list anymore.
She was listed twice for me, so I removed one of them, and I've got one of them. So you know what might be easier?
I'll refresh too.
Yeah, I was wondering if I should.
Try a refresh. I'll do that, and for the recording screen, we'll see if it updates.
Mine looks the same.
Yeah, it's the same over here for me as well.
Same.
Okay, so what we're going to do then, just so this won't be super confusing, is we're going to just redo initiative, since only one person's acted so far. So let me kill this initiative entirely.
Please roll better. Please roll better. Oh my god, it looks like I rolled the same thing.
So yeah, I'm going to actually manually remove all the turns, so I just did that, and then we'll start it again. Okay, so that looks like it worked, I think.
It made Libby roll a 1 again, though.
Yes, unfortunately that is the case. But all right, so it's actually working now, and the indicator's on the right individual, so that's good news. So I'm going to assume Sebastian's still off screen because he hasn't actually acted yet. All right, so this, hopefully we've got everybody on there. Just doing a quick double check. Yes, okay, so I think everything's working as it's supposed to now. Okay, so this guy is going to approach you here, Basan, and as he does so, again, he's got that crossbow in one hand. As he approaches you, he says, "All right, now don't give me any trouble." And essentially, he's going to do a grapple against you to try to grab hold and like start shaking you down. I'm assuming you're going to try to resist this.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and give me your choice of athletics or acrobatics.
Let's see. Athletics. Why do I not see acrobatics at all?
As a skill, it certainly should be there.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, okay, cool. Here we go. You want me to make it public, Adam?
Yes. Okay, he is successfully able to grab onto you, and you are now grappled. So we'll add the grapple to you and to him, so we know who's grappling. Okay, next up is Grask's turn.
But now the music messed up for me. First, it actually looks like it's not even moving.
The orange indicator?
Like the timing for the now playing on the jukebox, it's paused for me. Maybe is it paused? Does anyone hear it?
Yeah, I don't hear it either.
So there's definitely something weird going on with the Roll20 tonight. So the way I was able to fix this is I had to turn it off on my screen and turn the sound on the recording screen, and now I can hear it. It's playing, and I can watch it playing. So they must be having some server issues.
I don't know. If I was Roll20,
you guys all just refreshed your screens, right?
Yeah.
So I think sometimes that causes it to kill it. So let me just restart it. Let's see if this fixes it.
Yeah,
that did fix it.
Okay, so that is, if I ever forget that, for some reason, if you refresh, the music dies and you have to restart it.
If I was Roll20, I think I'd only be worried if Wizards bought D&D Beyond or something.
I know, that would probably be dangerous, right? And then declare that they're making their own virtual tabletop? Yeah, you would think you'd want to make a better product.
Okay, so Grask believes that the jig is up. He's going to move forward and... this is weird. I have to attack to get advantage, because if I can't rage silently, right? Does rage have any component that would make me not invisible?
I mean, the fact that you're moving closer to him and you're within 5 feet of him, I would say they definitely hear the sound of you getting closer. Rage doesn't necessarily have to do that. You're invisible, so you're already getting advantage.
But if I rage, I don't lose invisibility.
I think I think invisibility only says if you attack or cast a spell.
Okay, as long as I can do this and then keep the invisibility for advantage on that first attack.
The spell ends for a target that attacks or casts a spell. So yeah, you can certainly rage without dropping invisibility.
Okay, I will do that then. And I will do Desert Aura. When the effect is activated, I think I'm posting the GM. Let me do
You are. And what is the size of your aura, remind me?
Let me remind me.
10 feet. Okay. So
10 feet, right?
Okay, when this is activated, all creatures in your aura take 2. Okay, yeah, so I'll apply that to each of them.
And it goes up to 3 at level 5. For a devastating 12 damage. Do they die?
They better have some moisturizer.
They do not, but yes, they are certainly scorched.
Okay, and then I am going to attack with the Great Axe.
All right, swing
Forget
down.
to mention the giant lizard.
Yes, that one will definitely connect on the guy to your southeast. Yes, so that just chops right through him, and he is slain instantly.
And I'll step forward to the next one and swing again.
And that's the one just to your east?
That's right.
Yeah, that'll hit as well. He is also slain by that strike.
Oh, this is oh no, this is a massacre. These are the townsfolk who couldn't be farmers anymore, guys. And now my turn.
Don't create sad backstories for the enemies now, Grass. Come on.
What? Don't you get Great Weapon Master? Doesn't it give you a bonus action?
It's rage the bonus action.
Gotcha. All right, so Basan's turn. He's currently grappled. Let's see. He knows that everybody's waiting on him. I'm just trying to see if this is... Okay, cool. I'm going to use my Necrotic Shroud at him as an action. So I think I need to give you a spell effect roll, right?
Yes. He is certainly frightened.
Perfect. And I don't think that breaks his grapple, does it?
I mean, it doesn't mechanically, so he's grappling onto you, and I would say you notice the sphere kind of goes through him, but yes, maybe he's so afraid he's still holding on to you.
Perfect. Okay, so with that, I will... I don't think I have too much as a bonus action, so what I'll do is I'll go ahead and draw my improved scimitar out by my side and get ready for my next turn.
And just to clarify, that shroud, that's the only effect it has, right? There's no rider effects or anything?
No, there is. Here, I'll post it for you. It just gives me additional damage once per round for 1 minute.
Okay, but this is what caused those ghostly skeletal wings to sprout. So anybody that can see you would recognize that.
Yep. So when it happens, it looks like his shadow lifts up off of the earth a little bit and kind of encompasses him, and all of his hair stands up, and his eyes turn inky black, and he looks quite intimidating.
Nice. Okay, so yes, you guys definitely spot that. So Sebastian's 30 feet off screen, so he will run 30 feet on screen to there. And as he does, bow in hand, he will take a couple of shots now as Sebastian has improved during the downtime.
Nice.
Yes, really what that means is the DM forgot to level up the sidekick to level 6 when you guys hit level 6, but, storyline-wise, it totally made sense. So 2 shots to the bandit here. The first one will miss, second one will connect, hitting into the bandit in his shoulder, wounding him badly.
Was that the one in the cart?
No, that's the one just next to Grask there.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay, next up is Hugo. So Hugo, as a reminder, you're 30 feet off screen.
Okay, so yeah, he'll run the 30 feet, just be on screen, and then seeing the signal, he'll take aim at that same bandit and firebolt.
Okay, same bandit, firebolt. That firebolt will manage to connect.
All right, let's get him.
And yes, this bandit will go down in a fiery heap.
For Halen, right? All right. And I guess that's the end of his turn.
Nice.
All right, go ahead and pass your turn, and we will move on to a slew of enemies here.
I'm going to shout, "You're all going to die unless you stop now,"
says the ghostly skeletal man.
I clicked it. It's not doing it for some reason.
Okay, no worries. I'll pass your turn here.
What's the Ankh symbol on me?
The
Invisible.
Ankh symbol?
It's the invisible man.
Yep, I'll go ahead and take
Oh.
It does look like an Ankh symbol.
Okay, so yeah, it looks like maybe the scripts crashed once again. Big shock, but I will restart that, and we will move to the next guy's turn. Okay, that's this one here. So he's actually going to make his way up, take that flank position. And once he does, he is going to slash out with his scimitar that he draws from his side at you here, Basan, with the flank. So defense roll, please.
Oh, that was a blind check. My bad.
Okay, so let's see. With the flank, that is going to slash into you, Basan. So that will deal 5 points of slashing damage. Okay, next is this one here. He's going to move up, and I think that is that Necrotic Shroud? That's not concentration or anything, right?
No, it just happens and stays up for a minute.
Okay, so he's going to get next to you and slash out as well. Another defense roll.
Okie dokie.
This one you do manage to evade. The blade just goes over your head there. Okay, that one is dead, as is that one. Okay, this guy is going to move back down through the horses, pushing his way back to here. And once he gets up to here, you're going to notice as he's coming towards you, he draws both a scimitar and a dagger in rapid succession, and he is going to slash and stab out at you a total of 3 times. So I'll need 3 defense rolls, please.
Phew!
All right, looks like
Not
the
great.
just started working again. Yes, you are correct. All 3 of those are going to hit. So that's going to be a total of 17 points of damage from 2 scimitar slashes and a dagger. Okay, were
Still
you
concentrate.
concentrating? Oh, invisibility. Yes.
Yep, and Jolly's still invisible. Grass broke his when he cut 2 people in half, but
Did you apply 17 damage total? Because you'll need to apply that 3 separate times for 3 separate concentration checks.
I did. You want me to give you 2 more con rolls?
Yep, yeah, that'll work. So they're all just DC 10, so.
Gotcha. My bad. I forgot that it does that automatically.
no
So
worries.
here we go. is con save, right?
Yes. Okay, so
Didn't
unfortunately
matter.
that will drop, so you lose concentration. Go ahead and take that clock off you. And yes, Jolly, you suddenly become visible where you're standing. Okay, this guy's turn. He is next to Grask here, and Grask, he is going to attack you 3 times as well. 3 defense rolls from Grask. Okay, Grask, you managed to evade the second one, so one of the scimitar slashes, but the other 2 connect. So 1 scimitar, 1 dagger, and you can cut those in half because of rage. And then we move to Jolly.
Jolly's like, oh crap. Didn't even get to use it. And then she starts running. And she's going to start stabbing the person in front of her.
Uh-oh, the first roll of the night. Of course, Libby is going to fumble. Okay, let's see how bad it is, Libby. Melee fumble. I'm guessing she rolls the one slipped on a... Okay, good. Okay, you're embarrassed. She missed. So I'm sure you get at least a second attack, right?
I would think so, right?
I believe you have an extra attack. Yeah, let's double check your sheet real quick.
I'm not seeing it though. And I'm
yeah,
like, am I getting confused with my other
you're-
character?
Oh,
Yeah,
right,
you're a
right.
rogue.
You are a rogue, right? So yeah, you just got the 1 attack. So you have 1 attack with sneak attack. So you're like, if your first attack hits, you do good damage, but unfortunately, don't even say that, Grask.
So lame.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's just a miss this time.
She is going to she's actually gonna use her bonus action to dash.
Okay.
She was gonna yell at Grask to go help out Bassane, but she's faster, I think. So so would it be possible for her to jump from here to here?
I'm sorry, ding one more. So from where you're at right now, yeah, I would say you can kind of hurdle over it.
Okay, cool. That way, just can keep moving.
All right, and luckily you have rakish audacity. Or no, that's not the right one. Whatever the ability is that means...
Fancy footwork.
Thank you. Fancy footwork. You don't take opportunity attacks from opponents that you've attacked this round. Perfect. There you go.
Is that the max? I think that's max. I can move.
That would be an additional 30 feet from your dash.
I am going to employ feline agility.
Okay, so you can move double.
So is that 60 more?
Yes, because she dashed, yeah.
Ooh. That's cool.
All right, so you sprint up along the edge of the bridge, passing the horses, get right up into the thick of the things.
Okie dokie. Hopefully that was a good decision.
Okay, so this guy's frightened of you, Basan, so he doesn't want to try to hit you. Instead, he's going to try to force you to the ground. So this is going to be a shove action against you, and I will need you to give me your choice of athletics or acrobatics.
That's his action, right? To shove?
It is.
Yeah, he can shove me down. I won't resist. I'll kind of smile as he pushes me over.
All right, he will shove you prone then.
I'm going to say it again. If you don't stop, you're all going to die.
Grask's turn.
Okay, I'm going to take a reckless attack to the person to my north.
Recklessly will hit. Wounding him.
And again.
That'll be a crit. Go ahead and roll your crit.
Cut him in half.
Okay, true crit. Go ahead and post that. We'll take those damages. Walloping strike against him, but he is still standing here, Grask.
I think I'm never going to remember all the text on Great Whipmaster. I think I get the extra attack now, right?
Bonus? Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
Score critical or reduce a creature. Okay, here comes the third one.
That will also hit. Wounding him once again.
Dude's too tough. That's me.
Yeah, that guy rolled good on his hit dice.
Actually, the deduction of HP didn't go through when I put it the first time. Okay, Basan, so you're currently prone and grappled.
Yeah, whatever. So he kind of smiles up at him, and his entire body kind of scorches into this flaming version of the skeletal winged guy, and it like he looks like the Human Torch. It instantly catches his fire completely, or his body completely on fire, and it seems like out of like an anime how fast he transports. But he's gonna cast a spell called Hellfire Blitz. Here's the text. Well, based on what I read here, it basically just immediately moves me in a straight line, 40 feet. So this way. To here.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. So go ahead and move yourself. So it's just the one guy whose turn you're passing through then.
Yep, and it does leave behind the entire space that I moved through. For 4 rounds, it will be on fire with that hellfire. And anybody that goes through it or touches it or anything like that ends up taking damage too.
Very cool. I love tactical spells like this because it gives you lots of stuff to play with. So I'll get that on screen while you throw me a spell effect roll.
That is why I didn't mind going up front, because I knew I had this in my back pocket. I just wanted to make sure it all coincided with initiative, and it did.
That looks perfect. Yeah, that looks perfect.
Yeah, that spell is awesome. That's so sweet.
Yeah, I really like that one. Okay, so let's see. Hellfire Blitz, that scorches right through him. That will succeed. I'm sorry, you will succeed. He will fail. So go ahead and roll me that 6d6.
It did up there when I did the roll, 19.
Okay, and does the necrotic apply to that?
Let's post it. I think it's on each turn on one of your weapon attack.
Okay, so not on spells.
It's at spell.
During it, once on each, you can deal extra necrotic damage to one target when you deal damage to it with an attack or a spell. Yeah, so it will do the necrotic as well. So imagine it's like a mixture of like this scorching hot fire. Does anybody watch Naruto? It's like Amaterasu. Everybody knows what that is.
I've heard of Naruto before, but I don't watch it. But anyhow,
so
this definitely
it's like Black Flames.
Guy. Yes, and yeah. Well, Black Flame makes me think Elden Ring, but either way, that guy is toast by a long shot. So yes, he is down.
Yeah, I posted a GIF of it in chat there. That's Amaterasu. It's like Black Flame, but there we go. That's kind of what it looks like as he scorches through, and then he doesn't even get up. Those wings begin to start flapping behind him, and he's going to use his elemental gift, which, Adam, I need to make that a attack so I can burn it, but it's a bonus action. I'll go ahead and deduct 1, but it gives him a flying speed of 30 feet, and he is going to take his movement to go that full 30 feet up into the air.
So now mechanically this is a little bit odd, but even though you teleported, you actually are still prone. So once you cast this, you'll still need to use half your movement to stand up unless you want to be flying prone. Which I'm not sure is a thing, but you'd be flying horizontally, I guess.
Yeah, I guess like Superman. No, it's okay.
Actually good because range attacks low disadvantage.
I don't think prone applies to in air, though. I don't think that would have the same mechanics. It's okay, Adam. I'll go 15 feet, and we'll just say half. I stood up, and I'm at a normal standing look to me.
Okay. And so you're wanting to fly 15 feet up after you stand up?
Yep, half my movement to get up, and then 15 feet into the air.
Okay, yeah, that'll work.
Trying to remember. I can't remember how to do the text on the dots.
Just put your cursor on it and then type a number rather than clicking.
I'll figure it out, but I'm 15 feet up in the air, and that's my turn.
Okay, we move over to Sebastian's turn. He will take a shot, or a couple of shots, at the guy next to Grask. He will miss twice, though. Hugo.
Stop joking around, Sebastian.
I do not want to take the kill for Grask there. He's very upset when this happens.
Okay, Hugo moves to here, and he'll try to shoot. Can he see the ones on the bridge?
I mean, yes, but significant cover if you were to try to shoot some kind of line or something directly in that way.
All right. That being that way, he'll shoot at the one that Grask is fighting then.
Okay.
Firebolt again.
Firebolt singes through the air, but he sees it coming and backs away and avoids it.
I'm coming your way, buddy. And that's it for Hugo.
All right, this guy has no interest in stepping in the hellfire, so he will instead step here to put Jolly in the flank and say, it's time to skin a kitty, as he stabs forth with his scimitar here. 1 defense roll from Jolly. He does manage to connect against you, Jolly, as you're trying to avoid from both sides. He'll take that 5 damage. Would you like to burn your reaction to cut that 5 down to 2?
Am I okay? Just like from like a mechanics thing. For the future, when I use this, am I allowed to know what the damage is before I decide whether to use it?
Yes, because it says when an attacker that you can see hits you with an attack. Oh, actually, when they hit you, I'm going to say no. So if they hit you, you would declare that. Then we would roll the damage.
Okay. Then I'll just stick to that and go ahead and use it for this turn.
Okay. So deduct just the 2 HP then, as you manage to dodge somewhat out of the way of that one. The guy on the other side is going to do the same as he slashes down towards you. This one, however, you manage to avoid. This guy here, similarly, the only one really within range is Jolly, so he'll step up there to create the T force here, and he is going to take that triple attack against you, Jolly, so 3 defense rolls. You evade the first one, but the second 2 manage to get through your defenses, taking 1 scimitar and 1 dagger. So a total of 10 points of damage against you there, Jolly. This guy here is surprisingly still alive, and he is going to continue those attacks against Grask. So, actually, you know what? He is actually going to disengage and make his way down underneath the bridge. So I'm going to keep him here, but I'm going to put an indicator showing a down arrow as he goes underneath the bridge. Okay, Jolly, your turn.
Okay. I'm going to use steady aim.
Okay.
And that gives me advantage for my next attack, like for this attack, right? Not next turn.
Correct.
So-
Your first attack on this round.
It never occurred to me that that could be used with melee attacks because of the name of it.
Oh yeah, all the I mean, yes, I know what you mean, but yes, I see it used for melee all the time.
While I'm forced to not move this turn, I might as well take advantage of that. So, I guess we'll just. Oh man, it's so hard to decide.
You'll get sneak attack as a swashbuckler, though, because no one's within 5 feet of you.
And steady aim gives you advantage, so give it even if it wasn't a swashbuckler.
And my
Yep.
enemies are within 5 feet of my enemies. Oh wait, it needs to be an ally.
Yeah, I
Never
think the
mind.
swashbuckler part wouldn't apply here, if I remember correctly, because you have to be within 5 feet of somebody that's not within 5 feet of anybody else, but steady aim breaks that anyway, so you're all set. You would get sneak.
Yeah. All right, I guess I'll aim for I'm gonna take out one of the little ones, so I'm gonna aim for
Okay,
that guy.
attack the one to your east. See, there you go. There's a good swing.
Thank
yes,
God.
Go ahead and roll a piercing crit.
Oh my god.
I love how that
Two
only
ones.
happens because I chose not to fight the leader guy.
You gotta roll your crit effect.
Yes, yeah.
Ooh,
your critical
crit
hit, yep.
effect. I've never had to roll one of those before.
Yes, we will see if this applies as rolled or something else.
That can't be true, right?
So go ahead. Do not roll your damage.
Oh.
Instead, deal the maximum. No, that's good. So maximum
That's
result
great.
possible. So that's going to make your sneak 18 plus 2 for dueling is 20 plus 8 for that is 28 plus 4 for Dex is 32 points of damage. So yes, your rapier just pokes right through his throat and he collapses instantly.
I say
Told
that's
you
gonna
were
be the
gonna die.
rest of yeah. Exactly.
Okay, Grask, that guy moved away from you and underneath the bridge.
Grask shouts out,
Leave the one under the bridge. We'll question him after.
and I am going to dash after I measure again because I'm pretty sure that's more than 40. Yeah, 55. So I've got a dash, I've got 40 feet to here, and then the dash will get me right here. And then as a bonus action, I will do Hungry Jaws.
Okay, yes, and as nobody has line of sight on this guy any longer and he's under the bridge, I'm going to remove him from visibility. You try to bite out at this guy, but your bite just crunches into his armor, dealing no damage. Okay, and I know we're a little overtime here, guys, but if it's cool with everybody, let's just finish this up. I'm assuming this will probably take maybe one round. We'll see. Does that work for everybody?
Yep, for
Sure.
sure.
Works for me.
Good deal. Okay, Basan.
Okay, Basan is from his heightened stance. He is going to fire out an Eldritch Blast at let's say this guy right here.
Okay.
Yep, he's level 5, so he's got 2 blasts, so we'll send the first one that guy's way.
That will hit.
Okay, he's going to put his Genie Wrath and his Necrotic Shroud on it.
Yes, that will slay him as he drops to the bridge.
And then other one towards the boss guy.
That will connect.
Okay, doesn't get the extra rider effect.
Okay, Eldritch Blast smashes into him, wounding him.
I'll say I'll just, in the air, scoot up 10 feet this direction, but I'm still flying.
All right, Sebastian will move up a bit. He has a very obstructed shot, so he's not going to bother taking that, but he will move a bit closer here. Hugo.
All right, Hugo will move up, and he is a very obstructed shot too. But can you see like a little part of that guy?
I mean, yeah, through flashes of the horse and stuff. So sure,
It's got a magic missile.
that'll work. All right, so those 3 missiles flash out, striking at the same time and smash into him, wounding him.
And he yells out, "Come on out! You don't need to die for the rest of these people."
Okay, this guy here still actively engaged in combat. Yeah, he's still focused on you here, Jolly, so he's going to take those 3 attacks against you.
Awesome.
Indeed, so 3 defense rolls. And so you've already burned your reaction, so you won't have uncanny dodge, so that one will hit.
Wait. That was within the last round?
I'm thinking it was, right? Did you? Because I
Yeah,
think one of the
her
bandits
turn's
hit you.
next.
Right.
Oh, my turn's next. Yeah, shoot. It's already been forever. Okay. Oh, wrong one.
Okay, so you managed to evade the second scimitar slash, but the first and the dagger do manage to connect. So that will do another total of 9 points of damage to here, Jolly, to both of those attacks. Okay, so what you guys are going to notice before we get to Jolly's turn now, you will see to the north off the bridge, the guy that went underneath is in a small canoe paddling it to the north. And I'll work on getting that on map as we move to Jolly's turn. But he's essentially like right out in this... wait, you can't see that. He is basically right out in this area at the moment. So I'll work on getting him on the map, but just FYI, that's where he's at. Jolly, your turn.
Okay. Okay, so stab this guy. That's obviously going to this dude.
It will hit. Yeah, so you stab out and wound him. I'll deduct that momentarily.
And then I'm going to take a second wind.
Okay, bonus action, second wind. Nice, restoring some HP there.
And then I'm going to fancy footwork. Couple feet away.
Okay. All right, Grask, your turn.
Okay, here it comes. I'm going to finish this guy off. Reckless.
That will hit. Wounding him.
The second one.
Critical hit.
Cut him in half.
It's overkill at this point.
It
Oh,
heard you. It heard you. That will wound him.
Really?
But you
Oh,
still
no!
crit, though. You still crit, technically,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, I did.
Even-
Well, I think no. I forget. I feel like we ask this question every time because I think I always say that's not a crit, right? Because like for abilities like the Paladin's Smite or whatever, like you declare a crit and then you don't get the extra damage. Does anybody remember? Because I want to make sure we're being consistent.
I remember having the rule in Adam, but I don't want to say left or right which it was because it's been so long since we last discussed that.
Yeah, so I'm fine either way because, again, it applies the same way to the enemies as it does to you guys. So do you guys want to call that result not a crit at all? So it basically just means you didn't get a crit? Or do you want to say you don't get the crit damage, but if there's some rider effects that say when you crit this happens, so again, like a Vorpal Sword or something like that, you know?
I'm fine either way. I'm actually not going to attack a third time anyway.
Does anybody have any strong feelings? Because if no one really cares, then I'm going to say when you roll that it's not a crit.
That sounds fair. I mean, it literally says, you call that a crit?
Right, because I feel like it adds just that small chance that you think you got a crit, but then you didn't. I think, to me, that makes the game more interesting. Okay, yeah, hearing no objections, we will go with that. His audio is killing him. Okay. The fire aura. Okay, that'll kill him. Okay, so yes, as that fire aura. Oh, but that's going to hit Jolly too, because that does do within 10 feet. So Jolly, you will suffer 3 points of fire damage.
That wasn't me.
Oh, see, yeah.
It was her or the horses.
All right, so I think that's Grask's turn.
Wait, can I use
Uncanny Dodge? I think it's I don't
Uncanny Dodge on that?
Go ahead and post that. I don't think it works against like spells or magical abilities.
I mean, I feel like I'm being attacked.
Right, so that's what, whenever you see that language hits you with an attack, that means it's associated with an attack roll. So if it was like a firebolt, then yes, because that's an attack roll, but this is not an attack roll, so no. But good thought. Okay, we move to Basan.
All right, Basan's going to move 30 feet out in this direction in the air, and he's going to look down and say, where do you think you're going? And you see him kind of snap his fingers, and these like fireworks kind of sparks like start to crackle all around him, and then a big version of it appears right beside the guy, and he's going to use Starburst. I clicked the wrong daggone thing, but we'll go with that.
That doesn't look right either, because that's a cantrip, right?
Yeah, so here, let me click this. It should be... Yeah, it should be 2d8.
Yeah, that only rolled 1d8. If you want to just throw a separate d8 and then a spell effect roll.
Gotcha, here we go.
Okay, so yes, that will affect him, knocking him to 0, where he slumps off the side of the boat and into the water.
I got him.
All right, guys, we are out of combat there. So, group, you guys have defeated the bandits that you were told were harassing everybody that came this way. So, congratulations on that. And yeah, you guys did a good job in this battle. So we'll go ahead and hang it up there. When we come back 2 weeks from today, so next week we have no session. 2 weeks from today, then the group will continue on their way to Proudglaive after, I imagine, searching all of the bandits and seeing what might be here.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes,
excellent.
indeed.
Good session, everybody. Have a great night, and we'll see everybody in 2 weeks.
Real quick, just before we go, I'm looking at the XP tracker. We're 600 XP away from level 7. Do you think this makes us hit it?
Based on what you guys have done here, I don't think I gave EXP out last week, so I would say yes, certainly.
Do you want us to apply that before next session, but not use anything?
Yes, you can level up to 7, but don't. Right, exactly. Until you get your long rest in, it won't actually be in effect.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Nice. All right, great game, guys.
All right, good night, everyone.
Great job,
See you in
everybody.
2 weeks.
See you in 2
Great
weeks.
session. See you guys.